just gone the route of no music.
Yep,
That way,
same on YouTube.
yeah. There's just no music whatsoever. I'm on the Twitch side, and just, they could have at least played like Mario music, I guess. But
Nope, don't have the budget for that.
I mean, but they do. What else would get announced here?
I've heard rumors of like a new Kirby game.
Oh, that
getting leaked.
Okay.
There'll probably be a new Smash character.
Yep.
It depends on what they mean by winter, right? Like if they mean Q4 by winter, then this is going to be the most Resident Sleeper Direct ever. If they meant like first quarter next year, like December through February, then maybe there's a chance of some decent stuff.
Right.
It said mostly winter. There may be some things that are not that are down the line a little further.
Yeah.
Well, okay, because then if it's just winter, then you're not going to get your Xenoblade fix. I
mean, yeah, we're gonna see things that we already know about. I think for this winter, we're probably gonna see Metroid Dread. We're probably gonna see SMT5. We're probably gonna see Pokemon, and maybe we'll see Advance Wars Reboot Camp. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know what world October is winter in, but you know.
Well, yeah, maybe that's too close.
How dare you question Nintendo?
Won't see Metroid. I guess November isn't either, but again, I'd be surprised if they didn't do more on like SMT. I mean, technically, none of those games are coming out in the winter because winter doesn't start until December 20th or 21st. So
yeah, but I think anybody counts December as winter. So like, I think even if that wasn't a lie, I think seeing Advance Wars is probably relatively probable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, but like my thing with the Q4 is that like, if they're not planning on announcing anything new, then like, what's the point of having a direct, right? So
I'm sure they're gonna announce some new things. I would be really surprised if they didn't, and it was just like, hey, let's go over stuff that we have announced already.
That'd be like a 10-minute direct. So
yeah, and they said it's going to be 40 minutes, so they gotta have something.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset are people going to be about the new Smash character?
I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I don't think 100% we'll see the last Smash character in this. It might not be. Sakurai on the last one said that the last one may take a little longer than expected. So we might see it, but I'm giving it like 50-50. We actually see the last Smash character. We might not see it at all.
Thanks, Hackerai.
But there's gonna be someone who's pissed no matter. Like, there's gonna be some segment of the population who's pissed no matter who it is.
It should just be another Fire Emblem character to troll people.
Oh my god!
If it's another
Fire Emblem, again?
Like,
now announcing Micaiah.
Oh god!
In preparation for Tellius remakes or something.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, I don't know why I was looking at Twitter for this, but somebody was like, put the Among Us character in Smash. I'm like, the Among Us character literally kills people, like stabs them, rips their head off. I don't know about that. I don't think Nintendo's gonna do that. What's this Smash gonna be? Just
like Among Us is popular, but I don't think it's like popular or iconic enough yet to make Smash.
Isn't it also kind of dead? Like it was one of those games where it lasted a little longer than Fall Guys did, but like
Fall Guys lasted like 2 months, and then it's around. Next Smash character.
I mean, everyone is asking in the chat for Goku and Sora, but you know.
Goku, okay, Sora is not going to be in Smash. He's not going to be in Smash. Let's just move on from that one. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Like, let's just move on from that one.
Why do you think Sora is not going to be in Smash? Like, it's possible. I think it's still possible.
Didn't you just say you have to be iconic characters? There you go. He's get him out.
Shut up. No, I mean, okay. there were people saying that like when Sephiroth or whatever got announced that like that was supposed to be Sora, but like Disney they think like Disney didn't allow it or something. Like I can
Disney
definitely
clapped
see
it. Yeah.
like Sora was the top of the Smash poll. He's like the most wanted character like among the players, but Disney might not allow it. So I can see him not being. I can see it going either way. Like he's the most wanted character, so they should put him in. But I can also see Disney being like, "Nah, we're not letting." him be
Disney's
in
not gonna
Smash."
allow it, yeah. Disney's probably like, hey.
Yeah, I mean Disney doesn't like fun, so you know.
Goofy and Smash, let's go.
Oh,
Donald, get Donald in there. Get Donald and Goofy in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Also, if Sora's in, that's another sword user, so I don't think we can allow that.
I mean, yeah, like another anime authority. Thanks, Sakurai.
like that's the thing is that, like basically any character from a JRPG is an anime sword.
Yeah,
character.
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
A big category.
It's like kind of what they do. It's mostly swords users.
Most main characters from JRPGs use a sword.
With exceptions to the rule, of course. But
yeah, I said most, not all.
Yeah. Well, God, that's what I said. Exceptions to God.
But actually, it's a key auto. It's not a sword.
Oh my God. Yes, the most useless of blades. It's like, you're hitting me with a key. Can you stop hitting me with that key? Like, it just hurts. You're not, like, killing me. You're just hurting me. Also, it's Sora. Sora's, like, 12. Oh! Okay, it's starting.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, okay, we got it.
Here
Thanks.
we go, kiddos.
Oh my God. Smash.
Yeah, this is
Dark Souls?
you got him.
Skyrim?
Okay, there's a dragon. Monster
Monster
Hunter.
Hunter. Yeah,
it's
Monster Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Capcom, definitely Monster Hunter. Is it an expansion? Is it a new game?
Last year's game on Switch.
Yeah, or that. Yeah.
Could be. It's cool, dragon. Monster Hunter New Moon.
Sunbreak.
Okay.
As opposed to Daybreak.
True. It has to be Sunbreak because Daybreak sounds better.
They're gonna break the sun.
Yeah.
To defend space. What was that one? It was he built a space fortress
To conquer the air.
conquer
Yeah.
the air. To conquer the air.
Hello everyone, I'm Yoshiaki Koizumi, and I'll be your guide for today's Nintendo Direct. What you just saw was the first trailer for Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, the massive expansion for Monster Hunter Rise. Our friends at Capcom are working on many new elements that will enhance the experience for players of Monster Hunter Rise, including new stories, locales, monsters, and, although not touched on in the trailer, new hunting actions and quest rank.
But you shouldn't
Monster
play it
Hunter
on
Rise
Switch. Play it on
Sunbreak
something else.
is scheduled to release as
Monster
paid
Hunter Rise is
DLC
required
in
to play
summer
this game.
2022.
Ooh.
Please stay tuned.
Better on
for more
PS5.
information in the future.
Well, that sure ain't winter. That's
Let's see
next
our
summer.
first
That's
match
like
of
almost a
Nintendo
year away.
Switch.
Yeah, that is actually really far off.
Yeah.
By comparison to what we thought.
Party during the day.
But I mean, the February Direct, they said they were focusing on fall, and Project Triangle was announced during that, so.
In the Mario Party
Yes.
Oh boy,
Superstars
Mario
game,
Party.
along with
I
Space
sleep.
Land and
Let's
Peach's
go!
birthday cake, several other boards make their return.
Mario Party
Take a stroll around
recycle
Woody
old
Woods.
games that people
Watch
like.
out for those Monty moles. They'll change the board's direction when you least expect it. Travel between two islands and Yoshi's tropical island. Toadette's got the star,
Mario
but
Party
you might
board
swap places with
games.
Bowser at the last second. Party
They should
day
just be
and
honest,
night
honestly, and just call
horror.
this the Salt Factory.
King Boo's
Like,
statue is harmless during
Mario
the day,
Party
but
ruining
at night,
friendships
it'll
since
slap stars
1990,
from
whatever,
unsuspecting
whenever the
players.
first Mario
Need a
Party
break
came
from
out.
boards? Head to Mount Minigames and play in minigame-only courses. Compete
Actually, I
against
bet there'll be
players
something on
worldwide
Pokemon
for the
Unite here.
longest win streak in survival.
Maybe.
Or work
I think
together
Just
in
released on
cooperative
phones like what,
multiplayer
yesterday?
strategy.
Yeah,
I think
something like
they'll
that.
probably
Minigames
come
have
up
7
that
courses
year.
available.
Like, hey,
All boards and
got
minigames
phones, right?
support online play.
Don't you have phones?
don't you guys have
Family,
phones?
You guys have
Play it.
phones?
And frenemies. And get
You should
ready
play
for
it.
a party of a
Costs
lifetime.
$100 to be competitive.
Mario Party Superstars launches on
Wanna
the Nintendo Switch
wanna
system
buy this skin?
October 29th.
Use this battle pass.
Pre-orders are
What about the other
available
battle
now
pass?
on
No,
Nintendo
there's
eShop.
2 battle passes. Why?
A new RPG is in the cards.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Welcome to Voice of
Part of the
Cards.
cards.
Odal.
Welcome to Voice of Cards. King's quest to slay the dragon. Oh, yep.
Gotta slay the
Wait.
dragon.
Wait. Oh, look at that! Look at the companion. And a proud witcher hatred for the dragon.
At the Queen's behest, you'll set off on a fantastical journey to slay a
Oh.
fearsome dragon for honor and fortune. Everything in this realm is
What?
represented as cards, from the protagonists to shops, towns,
Fuck am I looking
Um,
at here?
environments.
Is it
in this
I like
fresh
games?
take on tabletop
I like the
RPGs,
art, but I
you'll
don't
square
I
off
don't
in
really like the
turn-based card
tabletop
battles.
card
Your skills and a
whatever.
little bit of luck will determine the victor.
This is definitely like. Okay.
Raid Shadow
Spellbinding
Legends?
experience
Oh my
created by
God.
no.
Yoko Taro
No, that's
and Daisuke
Hearthstone
Saito
Mercenaries.
is about to unfold.
Yoko Taro. Okay.
That's the
Yoko-
creator of Nier.
Nier, yeah.
Yeah.
Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars launches on Nintendo
The music
Switch
does
October
sound
28th.
actually kind of
Pre-orders and a
Nier-esque.
free demo
Yeah, it
will
does.
be available today on Nintendo eShop.
Oh, there's a demo.
Okay,
There you
demo.
go.
Become a hero or an absolute disaster of a human being.
Oh, this is the hell is this
You
called?
awaken in a hotel room in the city of Revachol, devoid of your
Oh,
memories.
I know what this is. I don't remember what it's called though.
Soon, you learn
Disco
that
Elysium,
your
yeah,
sister
okay.
is
Disco
entangled in a
Elysium.
strange
This game's been
murder
out
case
forever,
in the
like-
groundbreaking
This
role-playing
been-
adventure,
it's been out for a
Disco
couple
Elysium,
years.
The Final Cut.
Just play it on
As you
PC.
interrogate
Like,
people
yeah,
and
just play it
uncover
on
clues,
Steam.
Yeah.
internal
like a
dialogues will
potato
begin.
could run this.
To investigate, you'll need the help of the 24 skills living within you. Your behaviors and available choices will change depending on how you develop these skills, directly
Wow, try it.
impacting how the story progresses.
Otto can become the terrible person he dreams of when he does that IRL already. What the frick? That's kind of like overly
What sort of
toxic.
detective will you
That's like
become?
really mean to just
Disco
immediately walk
Elysium,
into
the
the
final
room.
cut, launches
Just say that.
digitally on Nintendo Switch October 12th.
I don't know what I did
The
recently.
physical
to
version
deserve
of the
that.
game will launch early 2022. Pre-orders for the digital version begin today on Nintendo eShop.
Today.
Uncover more stories in Hyrule Warriors
yes!
Age of Calamity.
I guess Trial probably likes this.
No more Hyrule Warriors. Try had a rough day. Now Auto gets
Otto gets all of it. What the frick?
Spoon and Ghost look related. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No way,
Good
really?
observation, Bree. Good observation.
Hyrule Warriors.
And about that courageous friend of yours, it seems I owe him as well. Yeah.
The King of Hyrule must not fall!
You know, you're pretty good for a little kid.
We'd better partner up on this, don't you think? They won't harm you.
Oh my God!
Gojutsus.
Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Oh yeah, we're brothers. We're brothers, Bree. I thought that was known to most people in the community, but I guess maybe I didn't state it outright yet. Ghost and I are brothers.
Hyrule Warriors. All 5 people will enjoy this.
Oh, one of those 5 people's in the chat.
Oh,
So,
Right.
and a second is in the community. So,
woo!
you know,
Oh, there are dozens of fans.
Ready?
Oh my God!
set,
What is this?
Chocobo!
Oh,
Start your
Um,
engines
like
and get
Final-
set for a new racing experience.
Yeah, okay, so Final Fantasy Mario Kart, got it. Right,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy.
And Gilgamesh to be the first across the finish
It
line.
literally looks exactly like Mario Kart with Final Fantasy
Edge out
characters.
the competition by using drift
Like, I'm
boosts to
surprised
cut
Nintendo
corners.
hasn't cease and desisted this.
Magical stones called Magicites are contained inside items.
Nintendo's just like, "Excuse me, can we have a conversation?"
To blast away opponents.
Excuse me.
Acquire Magicites of the same element to cast even more powerful spells.
Just looking at this guy, and
Each
Nintendo's
racer
like
also has a
looking,
special
scratching their chins, like,
Use it at the right time to turn the table.
which cease and desist should we use this time?
No, I
Engine
mean it's probably going to be
customization options will
exclusive
be
to
available,
Switch. Like
as
there's
well
Yeah.
as mobile
Yeah, and
apps.
then take a bigger cut than they normally
I'm
would.
sure, yeah.
Up to 64 players can compete in a bracket-style tournament to
64.
determine the racing champion.
Oh my god.
Because Mario Kart's
Chocobo
not as
GP
much of a
races
cluster.
exclusively onto Nintendo Switch next year.
What did you think? Before we show you our next video, we have some news about the last fighter for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game.
Alright.
Oh, oh.
Give me a Fire
not-
Emblem character. I
we're not
want
talking
the
about it.
meltdown.
The game's director will reveal this
Oh, okay.
fighter.
We're
my
announcing an
goodness,
announcement.
Okay.
Sakurai
All right.
Presents
Yes,
video.
it's an announcement.
Yeah.
October 5th.
Got it.
The Atlas Classic.
Okay, in like
He'll
2
also
weeks.
show you how to use
The
this
Atlas
fighter,
Classic.
so please look forward
They
to
do it all the time. Like, yeah.
It's been about
Imposter, let's
3
go.
years
It's not.
since the
Oh my
game was
god.
released. This will be the last presentation about Super
Imposter.
Smash
It's
Bros. Ultimate.
Smash is just
I
rip
hope
the
you'll
head off
check
the
it out.
enemy. Stab him in the back.
Next, please take a look at this.
No, I won't look at it. Oh. My god.
Birds.
Last of Us 3? They decided to go in a different direction. World's End Club? Could be, actually.
Looks like World's End Club, but that game's
I mean,
already
that's out. Yeah.
and it was on Switch.
Yeah.
That's an expansion or something.
Oh my god, it's Kirby. It's Kirby.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
This was leaked.
Try wakes up on a deserted island. Runs just like Try 2.
Open world Kirby game? Or like,
Let's go.
I guess
Let's go.
It- could just be a collectathon like Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Joke's on you, Otto. I can't run. Oh my god. Is that? Oh my god.
I mean, Kirby's ninja running. You do realize that, right? He's got his arms.
Yeah,
he's
he
got
is.
his arms back.
He was the first ninja runner. Oh, oh. This has the little bit of Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely looks like
Yeah.
an open world collectathon,
God, Zelda.
like Ghost just did.
Yeah. I mean,
Sword.
look, I love Mario Odyssey. Like, you can play that with the Kirby skins, not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's fun. Woo! That thing looks a lot like me and really strong and buff.
Mm-hmm.
Handsome.
Yeah, definitely.
Spring 2022.
That looks cool.
I don't know if we've talked about a game that was coming out in the winter yet.
That was the
No,
trailer
yeah.
for Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
We really
I
have.
mean, technically March is winter, like, but I guess they did
This
say
new
spring,
game,
so.
You can freely move around in 3D areas using familiar Kirby moves. The setting also appears to be mysterious, filled with abandoned structures from a past civilization. What lies in store for Kirby? The game is scheduled to release in spring 2022. We hope you'll look forward to Kirby's new adventure.
Yeah, that commentary was useless.
Next, we have
Thank
this
you.
to show you.
Thank you. We saw the trailer.
Please take a look.
We watched the trailer. Thank you. It's like they think we're blind. Oh.
Oh, okay, Animal Crossing. Are they
Open
doing an
24.
expansion?
Open 24/7. Let's go.
Oh,
Con.
another Atlas
What
classic.
the frick is this? Are you kidding?
Okay, and
Nope, he's gonna tell us exactly what it is. Hold
The
on.
Animal Crossing New Horizons game has been enjoyed by many players around the world. New free content will arrive in November.
Like the bird.
In preparation for its release, we will be airing an Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct in October. In it, we'll go over the content in more detail.
Everything is in October. Why are we having this?
Please be on the lookout for the air date of this
This
presentation.
direct is just a direct to announce more directs.
Let's move
There'll
on
be
to more
more directs.
Nintendo Switch headlines.
Ooh, Nintendo Switch headlines. Let's go.
2 games, 1 game update, and lots of fun.
Oh my god.
Oh, we'll judge the last part later.
More
Oh,
fun content
yay,
is
Mario
coming
Golf.
to the Mario Golf Super Rush game.
How about a course that's
Super
not a
Koopa
par
enters
3
the
course?
fairway as a playable character.
Oh god. Okay.
Dish out tricky shots and dashes to mess with the competition.
I mean, if you can get the online connectivity to
Ninja will
work.
also be
Nope.
playable.
Look at this.
Take advantage of Ninja's blinding speed to outpace
Oh,
opponents.
this looks like a new course. Let's go. That looked
Yeah,
new.
New Donk
New
City.
Donk is out.
Courses are
Oh, it
also
is?
being
Okay,
added.
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a par
two.
3 course.
2.
These additions will come swinging in
Later
as
today.
A free software update later today. What's
Okay.
this?
Oh my god,
An
Kingdom
invitation.
Hearts!
You're invited
Oh.
to live in a magical world with Mickey Mouse and dozens of Disney characters. Spend time with Disney friends. Craft your own whimsical costumes and furniture.
Oh my god.
And explore
Spoon,
delightful
you could finally be the
Disney-themed
princess you
worlds.
wanted to be.
All downloadable content from the original Nintendo 3DS version.
Strike
is
a
included.
pose. Nice.
Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition soars
there was a
onto
one?
Nintendo Switch this
Kingdom
holiday.
Hearts if every world was Atlantica.
A
Oh.
beloved Star Wars game is coming to Nintendo Switch. Blast
Are
off!
they
to
porting
captivating
Knights of
planets
the
and
Old
join forces
Republic,
with
isn't it?
Jedi, droids, and outcasts.
Okay.
In this blend of action, role-playing, and
Well, I mean,
adventure.
you gotta give them that the Switch is in fact
Or will you
powerful
be
enough to,
lured the dark
you know,
side?
To run this game
To run
from
games
20 years
from
ago.
In Star Wars, Knights of
We
the Old
finally got the
Republic,
technology
launching on
to run
Nintendo
this
Switch
game.
November 11th. Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop. There's one thing you must
Disney game is
always
20
remember.
bucks. I'll stream it.
Stay human. This is the city, humanity's last stronghold against a virus that turns people into the undead. In the cloud version of Dying Light 2 Stay Human, you'll need to master both
Cloud
parkour and
version?
tactical combat to survive in this
Or I
brutal
could just get it on a
open-world
different
action
console.
RPG.
Or I could play it on a
Explore
different
the
console that would
or
look
with up to 3 other
infinitely
players
better.
in online
Yeah.
co-op as you unravel the dark secrets of those in
Play
power
this.
during the day.
Hey,
Amazing.
every time they have these like Switch ports, I'm just like, yeah, it should just say better on PS5
Better
after.
on PS5, by the way.
Yeah.
Have
Better on
consequences.
PlayStation.
No matter
5.
where your actions lead you, there's one thing you must always remember.
This is better
Stay
on PC.
human. While you're at it, take the prequel on the go in Dying Light Platinum Edition. Scavenge for
Look at
supplies,
these effects.
craft weapons, and face hordes of the infected in
Better
a
on PS3.
post-apocalyptic open world. Dying Light 2 Stay Human Cloud
Dying
version
Light 2
launches
Stay
on
Human
Nintendo
Cloud
Switch
version
February
for the
4th,
Switch.
2022.
Yeah,
A free demo will
because I
also
want to
launch
rely
the
on my
same
internet
day on
connection
Nintendo
to
eShop.
play the game.
Dying Light Platinum Edition comes to Nintendo Switch October 19th. Pre-orders begin today on
Cool.
Nintendo eShop.
Cool.
Utility.
Project
morality,
Triangle, I
or
think.
liberty.
Yeah.
That's Project Triangle.
In Triangle Strategy, a fiery chronicle of war presented in stunning HD 2D.
My apologies.
Your
The
actions will
Octopath
lead you
teams.
through a
It's
riveting
just
story
Triangle
that
Strategy
changes
now.
based on the
They just
decisions
took
Yeah.
you make.
Project off of it.
In the end, where will your conviction guide you?
You have gone to the one place I cannot follow.
In response to the survey about the demo released in February of this
Buff
year,
mages.
the game has been fine-tuned with a focus on elements that received lots of feedback.
Mages don't suck anymore.
These include adjustments to the difficulty, improvements to on-screen visuals, camera angle controls,
Say mages don't suck.
the ability to review previous dialogue,
And these are all QOL things.
and
Like,
streamlined game flow and loading times. More details are now available on Nintendo.com.
Splendid.
Splendid.
Triangle Strategy will launch on Nintendo
okay,
Switch
that
March
is
4th,
actually winter.
2022.
So yeah.
Wow.
Pre-orders begin today on
Yeah, I was
Nintendo
expecting
eShop.
an early 2022 for that game.
A
So
year
that's
after the
nice.
demo was what I was. Oh, here's Metroid Dread, and October is not winter. Just gonna continue to point that out.
Could be.
Yes, we know how to spell dread. Thank you, Nintendo.
Look, they're just trying to cheerlead for the game, okay?
They're not going to go into balance changes in a 1-minute video? Well, they should.
Yeah, I mean, mages
I
were
wanna know-
pretty
Yeah, they were
freaking
pretty bad.
garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
were really bad.
Like,
They were
yeah, I
really bad.
like the character class that can only attack once every other turn and do just as much damage and dies faster. Like, that sounds good to me.
Oh, this thing kind of sucks.
Project Triangle is supposed to be seen at Square Enix's TGS presentation, so they may be saving
Yeah.
some for that.
Yeah, that's in like a week, so
Yeah, that's next. It's next weekend.
yeah.
Samus Aran, the most powerful bounty hunter in the galaxy, embarks on a new mission to the uncharted planet ZDR. Her objective?
This narrator is
confirm whether the deadly
something.
X-parasite still exists, and figure out why the EMI research robots in search of it have mysteriously gone dark.
Yeah, this is a case of narrator trying way too hard.
Early readings reveal that planet ZDR is divided into multiple environments, each
Like,
with its own
literally
elements
every Metroidvania ever does that.
and organisms.
Hey, listen, some
Remnants
people
of
may
the
not have
mighty
played those.
Chozo civilization are also scattered
So
throughout,
they gotta explain it. I mean,
including evidence
this
that
game
the
is gonna be
Chozo
good,
may have
I'm sure.
once called
Yeah.
the planet their home.
Kind of hard to screw this
Visit
up, to be honest.
Metroid.nintendo.com to read Metroid Dread Report Volume 8 for a detailed account of the terrain.
But what happened to
and
the first 7
life forms you may
volumes?
encounter
They
in
were-
Metroid
they
Dread.
were,
You
uh,
haven't been,
they're
you
redacted.
haven't
Be sure
been,
to
you
read
haven't
the
been
other
following.
Metroid Dread Reports there as well.
I mean,
You'll want to
who
prepare
actually knew about,
yourself
like,
for the
does anybody,
dangers
like,
that lie ahead.
Go to
I guess-
Metroid.
Metroid Dread
MetroidDread.com when they don't
launches on
announce
Nintendo
anything,
Switch October
like
8th.
between
Pre-orders are
E3 and
available
now.
on
There's at least
Nintendo
7
eShop.
people that have gone there.
I forgot that was like early in October.
but
I thought it was more in the
The
middle.
7
That's
people who wrote
Up
the
next,
reports.
We have news
Exactly.
about Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
Online.
They're like my report. Oh,
Many
Nintendo
people
Switch
have been
Online.
using
Woo!
Nintendo Switch Online since it launched in September 2018.
Are you gonna make it
In addition to the
free
current
again?
membership, we'll be adding a new membership plan.
How about making it not suck?
With a new membership plan. What is that?
Oh
As a
boy,
part of this
a
new
new
plan's
membership
content,
plan.
Wait, did you just get cut off? Oh.
A new membership plan where you pay $60 to be able to actually play Mario
You'll be able
Golf.
to play a collection of Nintendo 64 games. The Nintendo 64 system launched 25 years ago. I think this system gave many players their first 3D gaming experiences, as well as intense four-player
Is this why they keep taking down
multiplayer
all those
action.
emulators so that
With
they can make
Nintendo
their own
Switch, up to
emulators?
4 people can
Yeah.
play select
Oh, got
Nintendo
it.
64 games locally or online.
Yes, so we can charge you to play N64
Also, with
games
this
with
new
giant
membership
black
plan,
bars.
In addition to the Nintendo 64 games,
Whoa!
That's interesting.
you can play a collection of games from Sega's Genesis system. This means you'll be able to play these classic games whenever and wherever you'd like.
Echo
With
the
black
Dolphin.
bars.
Oh my
The
gosh.
new plan will
Black
include
bars,
all
let's
elements
go.
of the base Nintendo Switch Online membership, as well as the ability to play the included Nintendo 64 and Genesis games.
So,
How
This
much
is
extra is the
Nintendo
new
Switch
membership?
Online plus expansion pack.
Expansion pack.
how much is
This
it?
new membership plan will be added in late October.
How much is it?
Of course, you'll still be able to continue using the existing plans.
Will the
Also,
connectivity
those who
not
have
be
an existing
garbage?
membership plan can change over to the new plan.
How much is the new plan?
We'll share more details
How much
about
is
this
the new
new
plan?
membership plan at a later time.
Oh my
including
God!
The exact
Just
release
say how
date
much it
and
is.
pricing information.
Watch it be like twice as
For
expensive.
now, however,
Yeah, watch it be like
we'd
twice
like
as
to announce the
expensive.
games
Just tell
that will
me
be
how much it
available
is,
when it
so I
launches.
can be shocked.
You'll be able to play the Nintendo 64 games shown here,
Okay. Oh
as well
shit!
as these Genesis games.
Not bad.
We'll also continue adding more
$64,
Nintendo 64
yeah, exactly.
games such as The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and F-Zero X, as well as other Nintendo 64 and Genesis games going forward.
I mean, a lot of these games are actually really good.
They
but
are, yeah.
Furthermore, we've prepared Nintendo 64 and Genesis controllers to ensure the games can be played with the same style controls from their original releases.
Oh, you can pay $60 to buy an N64 controller in 2022.
I mean, I don't know if this is a hot take, but the N64 controller is trash.
Nintendo Switch on
$50?
We hope you'll look forward to this.
Oh
new
my
membership.
god! Okay.
You can pay $50 to use a garbage controller.
Let's see a few more Nintendo
Yes.
Switch headlines.
Oh my god.
There's plenty to
That's hot.
play in
That's-
these collections.
That's hot garbage.
Cyberpunk meets fantasy in this 3-game collection
Paradox.
of cult classic RPGs. As a shadow.
No, I'm not memeing. The N64 controller is a piece of shit. That thing sucks.
And fantasy creatures have come back to
That is an
life.
awful controller.
I have no
Immersive
opinion on the
branching
controller
narratives.
actually. I didn't
Joystick
think it
is
was-
Skill-based
horrible.
character growth.
I didn't think
Like,
it was
it's
horrible.
Gripping
so
turn-based
bad.
tactical combat await in Shadowrun Trilogy. Launching on Nintendo Switch next year.
is this? Hold on, I want to see this.
The
It's
perpetual struggle against
You don't know,
Count Dracula
Try? God, I can't
continues.
believe you don't know.
Castlevania Advance Collection brings
Yeah, I don't know
together
that
4
game.
classic Castlevania games with deathly beautiful graphics and hauntingly epic music. The Rewind, Quick Save, and button mapping features will also
Try
ramp
doesn't
up,
know
or
the
ramp
game?
up your
Can't
fight
believe
against evil. All regional versions of each game, as well as a gallery mode with never-before-seen artwork, are included. Castlevania
Cool.
Advance Collection launches on Nintendo Switch later today. An almighty classic returns.
King of Dragons? Oh. I got my hopes up for a second there.
The classic Super NES game ActRaiser returns on Nintendo Switch, now remastered in
What?
HD. As
This
the
is
Lord of
sh-
Light,
I've never heard of
Almighty
this.
God,
This is
I've
you
never
save
heard of
mankind
this
from
game.
the forces of Tanzra, the
you've
Lord
heard
of
of it.
Dark.
The
You'll wage
classic
war in
game
2 phases.
ActRaiser that I've
First,
never heard
strike
of.
down monsters in the
I mean, look, it's
side-scrolling
classic
action
'cause it's
phase.
old,
Liberate
like-
the lands from the grasp of evil. Master swordsmanship and magic.
I mean,
Old
Nintendo
was
doesn't
not
know
being
what
classic.
Nintendo doesn't even know what winter
Then
means. Okay,
cultivate
so
the lands
they
you've
don't.
liberated
True.
in the
Maybe they don't know what other
world-building creation phase.
words mean too.
It's up to you to decide which
Level
structures will be
99.
destroyed to
Damn.
make way for new ones, creating a flourishing civilization.
What the fuck? Did you just
As
blow
you
up?
do
Is he
so,
just blowing
Yeah,
up
powers will
civilization
increase,
there?
giving
Yeah,
you
you
an
can blow up
edge in
towns
both
if you want.
phases.
But why?
Alternate between the original and rearranged versions of the beloved soundtrack and enjoy brand new music. New stages and new boss
Wait,
battles
is it
also
tower
await.
defense too?
ActRaiser Renaissance descends onto Nintendo Switch later today.
Oh,
Oh, Shadow Drop.
Ghetto drop.
A new chapter is about to unfold.
Okay, Undertale
Deltarune, yep.
or Deltarune.
Okay.
What am I looking at?
Looks like Monokuma, dude.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
What? Try just said fuck this shitty ass franchise. Whoa.
I mean, the music's good. That's about all I'll say about it. I haven't played the actual game.
Oh, try. Take it easy.
Undertale fans are really annoying though, so, you know, or some of them are at least.
One and two. Kuru keeps talking about it. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, there's SMT.
Yeah, this is just like a
Oh,
sizzle
this is
reel,
the-
I think.
This is a real, yeah.
Yeah.
Hot Wheels Unleashed. Let's go. Oh my god, a basketball game. Let's go.
Probably better than 2K.
True. What the heck is that? What What is that? Wait, I actually wanted to see more of that. Shin Megami Tensei 5, the Weebs rejoice.
Weebs rejoice.
Any Hot Wheels gamers?
Hot Wheels gamers.
Namco Hamster.
Oh, yes!
We're in Factory 5.
Or
Wait.
Weeb Games.
Wait, I thought it was like a...
How's everything? There are still a few more announcements in today's Nintendo.
Yeah, we
Direct.
know that. There's 10 minutes left.
Oh, Miyamoto-san. What brings you in?
I wanted to make an announcement, so I was hoping I could step in.
Oh, of course.
Good God.
Hi everyone, I'm Shigeru Miyamoto. We previously announced that I have been working with the Hollywood movie studio Illumination and its CEO and producer Chris Meledandri-san, who are known for movies like Despicable Me and Sing, in making a full-length animated Mario movie for the big screen.
Oh, shit.
Today, I wanted to announce its theatrical release timing. Ta-da! The movie will be released in theaters in holiday 2022. The release date for North
see a
America
trailer?
is on December 21st and will be
Can we see a
announcing release
trailer?
dates for Japan,
Nope.
Europe, and other regions at a
Nope.
later timing. It'll be a
See a
while
trailer?
longer until we can share a glimpse of
Okay.
Mario in action on the big screen.
I mean,
But today, I also wanted to reveal our key cast members who will be voicing Mario and his friends in the movie. First, of
Chris
course, is
Pratt
Mario.
as Mario.
What?
Okay.
Played by Chris Pratt.
Okay.
He's so
I don't see it, but
Mario
okay.
will be talking a lot in the movie. Please look forward to Mario as performed by the very
Okay.
talented Chris-san.
That's like an interesting
I don't imagine
Princess Peach
Chris
will be
Pratt
played by
doing
Anya
the
Taylor-Joy.
Mario like
I
Yahoo
can't wait to see a
thing.
very
Like
spirited Princess
I
Peach.
can't.
Who's Luigi?
Mario's
Charlie
little
did-
brother Luigi
okay.
will be played
I can
by
kind of
Charlie
see that,
Day.
but
I see that one. That
I'm
one.
excited
That
for
one.
you to see
it's
this
okay.
timid sibling appear on screen.
Toadstool.
Bowser will be played by the one and only Jack Black.
Oh my gosh.
I'm expecting
okay.
a monster.
Nintendo's
performance
spending
by
some
Jack's
money
son.
on
They're
this.
really
Yeah,
spending money on
Yeah.
this.
The comedian Keegan-Michael Key will be playing Toad. I'm looking forward to great comedic moments.
Okay.
Even though this is a Mario movie, Donkey Kong will also be making an appearance.
Okay. I'm
Will
like,
be played by Seth Rogen. I'm eager for you to see a humorous Donkey Kong by Seth-san.
Yeah, the only one I'm not
That's
sold on
fun.
so far is
And
Mario
of course,
with Chris
Charles
Pratt.
Martinet, who has voiced Mario and many more Nintendo characters in our games over the years, is also involved and will be appearing in surprise cameos in the movie.
okay.
We also have more incredible talent joining the film to play some
Cranky
of our
Kong.
other
Cranky
beloved
Kong.
characters.
Okay.
That is all I can share with you today about the Mario movie. This is a very collaborative project between Illumination and Nintendo. We've all been coming up with all sorts of ideas, and I myself am enjoying a creative process that is a little bit different from making games. It may be a while until we can share more updates, but I hope you'll look forward to it. Koizumi-san, back to you.
Please look forward to Mario's adventure jumping into the world of motion pictures. Next,
We won't
we'd
talk
like to
about
show
the
you
one from
this.
the 80s.
We're not going to talk about the other Mario one. That doesn't exist. That is a crazy cast. Oh,
Yeah,
here it is.
Splatoon.
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 This is coming out early next year, so I think is what they said at the last direct. So makes sense to see it here.
Like, honestly, so far, the only announcements I've seen that I'm excited for, like, Kirby looks pretty cool.
Release date for Project Triangle
Project
as well.
Triangle
Yeah.
release date. That's about it for me so far. Yeah, the Mario movie, it's got potential.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's got a good cast.
Getting ready to head to the Copium Den.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
Copium.
Copium Den sounding pretty good right now. I know people like Splatoon though, so this is probably cool for a lot of people.
What am I looking
What?
at? What am I looking at?
Yeah, what is that even supposed to be?
That is my nightmare.
Yeah.
That is my exact nightmare.
Release date?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, wait.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hello, everyone. I'm a researcher from the Squid Research Lab. I've been meticulously studying the mysterious squids that can transform into humanoid
Nice
form.
shades, dude.
What you just saw was the latest research footage from Splatoon 3. Allow me to share a bit of what we know so far.
Allow me to reiterate everything that
Splatoon
shown in the
3
trailer.
takes place in Splatsville. It's known as the city of chaos. Centered around Splatsville are the Splatlands, a place long inhabited by advanced sea creatures such as squids and octopuses. Buildings spanning several generations are crammed into the city, creating its distinctive culture. In the Splatlands, turf war appears to be a popular activity. Its basic rules are unchanged.
They're literally just
4-player
reiterating
teams
everything.
compete against each other to ink the most.
Yeah, they just added cringe and we're repeating it.
The trend seems
Like,
to have
that's-
undergone a major shift, with the existence of new main and special weapons confirmed in the footage. In the latter portion of the footage, we were able to observe activities from Story Mode, the single-player campaign.
Return of the Mammalians.
Meaning, the
Yeah, we
reappearance
saw the
of
title.
mammals appears to be the theme of Story Mode this time around. What could this possibly mean in a world where all mammals, except for 2 cats, have vanished?
People play this
It
for the
appears that
story.
there's still a lot to uncover. But we'll continue with our research and keep you updated once more results
I didn't know there was a
become
story.
available.
Actually,
Please look forward to more
I just only played.
Splatoon 3.
All right, you can go ahead and hit it back to Cringe Laboratories.
Updates to come.
And let's move on.
See you next time.
Like release date or move on.
Try says he
Like-
plays it for the story.
Oh,
What
okay.
I
did
actually
you
didn't know
think?
there was a story.
Splatoon 3, taking place in a new world, is scheduled to release in 2022. Please look forward to future updates. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
this
try-
is the
it says
last
he's-
trailer we
he
have
did
to show you
speedruns
today.
for Splatoon 1.
Please take a look.
The famous speedrunner Tricurate.
Opium or no?
Oh my god! Xenoblade!
No.
No, it says Platinum.
Oh
This
my
is
god!
Bayonetta, probably. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Copium.
Wow. Damn,
Engage.
Xenoblade's got real realistic.
Yeah.
Damn.
Although this doesn't really look like. Or no, okay, yeah. Now it looks like potentially Bayonetta.
Your guns are useless.
Yeah, Bayonetta's pod.
Your guns are useless against these
It's
weebs.
it's not Xenoblade or Fire Emblem though.
Lol, they think guns work. Don't they know they have to have swords? Yep.
What?
Yep, I'm in.
Yep, that's Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Bad boy. It seems I'm unfashionably late, but I'm ready to give you everything you want. Right on time. Break! Let's dance. Smashing
The animation on that arm looked shitty as hell. Also, I don't know what they're gonna do with the story in this game, because spoiler alert, but the end of Bayonetta 2 basically showed that the story of Bayonetta 1 and 2 is a time loop. So I guess they're gonna break the time loop somehow.
Again, like, this is something that most people are not playing for the story. Like, they can kind of do whatever they want.
There you go. There you go.
What you just saw was the latest trailer for Bayonetta 3.
Even for Switch, that
We
graphic
announced
did not
this
look
game
very
in
good.
2017, and
Yeah,
we thank you
this
for
has
your
been
patience.
vaporware for 4 years.
This game will launch next year. We hope you look forward to Bayonetta's new encounters.
Well, looks like it's over. No Xenoblade.
That's all for today's Nintendo Direct. Thank you for watching.
Okay, better go hit up the copium den.
Yep. I'm gonna need a big whiff.
I mean,
man.
It has to be in development. Like, I know this is copium, but like, it has to be in development. Like, otherwise they're just wasting Monolith. Like, they own the studio for a reason.
That wasn't as bad as you thought. That was, I won't call it bad, but to me that was really disappointing.
Oh, I mean, to me it was like, if there was no Xenoblade, it was disappointing. Like, that just is what it is. But
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I felt. Like Xenoblade, or if I would have seen Xenoblade or Fire Emblem,
yeah,
I would have been cool with it. But yeah, again, there was 3 things in that direct that I was interested in. Project Triangle, Kirby maybe, and then Bayonetta 3. I mean, Metroid Dread as well, but we knew about that. They didn't really show anything new. They didn't even show it. They didn't even show Advance Wars at all, like, which is kind of like not even in the sizzle reel. Like, come on, man.
I just want to point out that none of that, like, basically none of that was this winter. So maybe Nintendo can not lie in their tweets.
Maybe they think winter's different. Maybe they think, March is
winter. Apparently winter is just whenever. Well, I mean, March is technically winter, but like, winter is not. I mean, they didn't say next winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winter's not October.
Okay. Let's we can talk about that more. I didn't think it was that bad. Kirby was cool. Seeing Mario Odyssey Kirby was pretty.
Yeah.
I thought that looked fun.
I mean, again, I'm not gonna say it was bad, because there was definitely like stuff announced in it, and there was some cool stuff. But again, for me, the average to below average.
You're looking for something specific, and it wasn't there, and
yep,
that means it's you were hoping it was there, and it wasn't. So I get it. There were a lot of announcements here, more so than I kind of would hope for. There was the Smash one, and then there was the Animal Crossing one. I thought there was one more. There was one more like announcement of an announcement, which I'm like, okay, but really, we're gonna announcement that? So I guess this is the opportunity to do it still. Okay, let's move on from the direct here, and not having the Smash character I think is going to be a letdown for some folks, but that's October 5th is like
it's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks,
less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
It's really not that far
And like
off.
that announcement's gonna happen, and then everyone's gonna be like -5 out of 10. It's another anime sword user,
Yeah.
or it wasn't Waluigi. Like, you know,
Not Waluigi. No, gross. Ew,
Alright, I'll
gross.
be right back, guys.
Okay.
I think my stuff's here.
Okay, well let's while Spoon's away, let's do some game news, and then he can obviously circle back and we can talk about it. So, Ghost, I've got the game news up on the stream. Hopefully, you're able to see it.
okay,
But
let me pull that up.
we don't have much because the idea of today was to focus the conversation specifically onto the impressions of Tales of Arise, as well as any other stuff you in particular felt like you wanted to bring up. But I thought that would, I think Spoon and I, the intention was that was the focus.
Yeah, I mean, Arise is the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. Yeah. So for today, there's a couple segments of news. I'm sure I've missed something that's worth noting, but I have to start with. Also, we will highlight some upcoming releases for games. I need to grab that actually.
Yeah, Astria Ascending is the one for next week that I'm looking forward to.
I think it is. I'm assuming it's listed on here too. So we're gonna be. Let's see here. So let me close that. You said Astria Ascending. I did. Oh, it's on here. It's on this list. Okay. So let me go ahead and circle us into the starting point, which is Diablo 2 Resurrected. So that is released as of today. So
Okay.
Diablo 2 Resurrected released today. I know that because Crip is playing it in particular, but also I vaguely recalled seeing some trailers the last couple days saying that this week was the week. I can confidently say, because of the streamers I've watched playing it, that the servers actually exploded, and they've been having a lot of problems early on with a number of players jumping on to play. So but the game itself is like hardly playable right now from what I've seen. Like there are people that are just getting kicked out of games. You can't even create a player in some instances, and you can't even sometimes just like log in and actually play the game. So
yeah,
they didn't expect this. I mean, obviously they didn't expect it, but I feel like they should have, given it's Diablo 2 remastered. How could they not?
When was the last time that like a massively multiplayer game actually had a smooth launch and like there weren't any problems and everyone was just happy? Like never, basically.
I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't recall that. I mean, we've got a couple. So this one obviously failed miserably on launch. I'm going to say because like you just literally people can't play the game earlier today, and it obviously released this morning. The only other like massive multiplayer game that's coming out soon is New World that I know of, which is next Tuesday. And they've had several betas for that. I have a hard time believing they won't be prepared, given also it's an Amazon game. If Amazon if their servers can't handle the player count, I think it will just be funny. I think it'll just be funny.
Like that's like Amazon's game, basically.
Exactly.
So like they, if they can't have good servers, then I guess nobody can.
Like this is kind of how Amazon does things now. Is like this is where their money comes from, is their hosting services. If Amazon can't host this game properly on release, I feel like they are just failing. In their betas, they didn't have issues. From what I saw, there were some stability issues, but like you could still log in and play the game without any trouble. But that is the only other one I know of. So I'm curious to see how that goes next week. Because obviously, I want to play it when it releases. But yeah, this one had problems.
The reason I made that comment though is like literally every MMO I've ever played has had issues at launch. Like every FF14 expansion has had issues at launch for various reasons.
Right.
Back when I played WoW, you would sit in like 20,000 player queues to try to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even original Diablo 2 had some issues at launch.
Yes.
So like, I just don't see why you would expect anything different here. But overall, my thoughts on Diablo 2 Resurrected are summarized by what Tri said in chat.
It was like actually playing a Blizzard game. So
yeah.
Yeah, so obviously this game, we all know the issues that we all know that I don't know why I just got that text. We all know the issues that Blizzard and Activision, well, we'll say Activision, have been having, particularly because it is a toxic workplace. So this game kind of is in this shadow of that. Some reviewers I've seen are obviously mentioning that in their reviews and saying, well, Diablo 2 Resurrected is what you'd expect Diablo 2 Master to be. Graphics look better than obviously the previous iteration, as they should be. The game it's Diablo 2, so it's enjoyable for people who liked this kind of game. Obviously, not everybody will, but Activision Blizzard's, well, they're being investigated for a sexist workplace that is,
and they suck.
And they suck. And that's just that's the shadow that's being cast over what was supposed to be a overwhelmingly positive release has now been shadowed by company issues with the lawsuit, and also the fact that people just can't even play this game right now. So only want to mention because this is the big release for Blizzard. This is the big release for the year. So unfortunate that this release should have been more well received, but Activision's a terrible place, so we can't have that.
Yeah, I missed the start of the conversation, but I saw a lot of people trying to play it this morning, and they were having trouble getting in. But again, when I came back, heard Ghost saying these online games always have these server issues. They just get flooded. They get DDoSed basically because so many people are trying to play it.
Right.
And it just becomes a mess. I've heard people say that you just can't, it's impossible to test for. It's you can think your server infrastructure is good, you can do betas, you can do this and that, but nothing can prepare a company for what a live release looks like, basically, when you get millions of people playing the game at the same time, basically, all trying to log in. Okay, the game releases at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., whatever the time was this morning, and literally everyone is trying to log in at the same time.
It's it's overwhelming numbers at one particular time.
And people don't just try to log in once. They're literally camping the login screen, mashing the enter button.
Right.
Yeah, if they can't get in, they'll keep trying, or they'll try every couple of minutes or something like that. Once it doesn't work, it's just crazy.
To my knowledge, there have already been 2 hot fixes to the game. 2. Early this morning there was one, and I think there was one before I streamed Tales. There was one, specifically because of the issues for trying to get into the game and also make a character. So, obviously there's a lot of interest, regardless of how people feel about the company. Take that as you will. That could either be good or bad, depending on how you feel about it. I mean, we know the streamers are going to play it, so of course they're going to play it. But yeah, hey, everybody else, make your own decision. Yeah, I mean, we all know Activision's a terrible place, so keep that in mind. Any other thoughts from both of you before I move to soccer? We all love soccer.
No, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think I'll play Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's Blizzard in 2022. I like Diablo 2, but not enough to go back and play it again.
Sure.
Okay.
I will give full disclosure. I did purchase this game. That being said, couldn't even play it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna play this. There's too much stuff coming out that I want to play, and yeah, Blizzard in 2021.
Yeah, it's again understandable. So okay, soccer. Soccer's exciting. Everybody likes soccer. The world loves soccer except for America. We kind of like it. Okay, so I'm gonna explain this one before I go through this roadmap section. Okay, so Konami makes a game called eFootball. Very simple name, and it is exactly what you think it is. It is a FIFA competitor. Okay, normally they make their games quite similar to FIFA, and Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
They make PES, right?
Yeah, they make PES, and I guess in this case it's eFootball. Okay, this year they've taken a different approach. This year they've decided to go free to play. This is a free to play game, and it is exactly what you think it is. The game is going to roll out though with only 9 playable teams. Clubs is what they're calling it, but that's how they say it in soccer. But these are teams, so you can only play as 9 teams, and these are local matches using 9 teams. Also, apparently, there's cross-generation matches, I guess, is available, but not cross-play yet. So you can only play as 9 teams, okay? That's it. There's nothing else in the game. There are no other game modes. There's no online play. That's what you get. Okay, so that's early autumn. Then in sometime in autumn, which obviously is going to be later than early autumn, they will actually do online modes and their team building mode, which is going to be like their FIFA Ultimate Team, crossplay, match pass system, blah blah blah. So by the way, even though this section is free to play, this section you will pay for. You will pay for additional game modes, and that is how this will work. So if you want to play in some of these other things, you will pay for them. So even though it is free to play, you still have to pay for the additional content that you would normally anticipate in a game like this. And then in the winter, esports tournaments kickoffs, which I think is freaking hilarious that they'd even have this on here. Cross-platform matches for mobile and mobile support, blah blah blah. But okay, my point is when I buy NBA 2K for example, even though NBA 2K is an omega lull from my perspective, you still get all the stuff for the $70 you pay for. You get the single player modes, even though they're shitty. You get the online modes, even though they're toxic. And there's some other stuff in there within the game that is you can just the play now modes. Those are all come with the $70. This game will release with 9 playable teams and no other game modes besides a play now mode. That's literally it. You have to buy the subsequent modes. I do not know the prices. Don't know the prices of this stuff, but just keep that in mind. This is all just, yeah. You got to buy for every piece of your of this game, which is just really odd. And they have pre-orders, but the pre-orders are it's nothing. You don't you're not
loot box pre-orders.
It's a loot box pre-order. Yeah, it's literally nothing. So I'm just completely baffled that somebody. Actually, I'm not. I was gonna say I'm baffled from a logical perspective of this isn't really much of a game anymore. This is just this is just DLC that looks like a video game. It's
games are now a la carte. The game is free to play, but it doesn't come with anything in it, any modes or players or teams you want in it. You gotta buy one at a time. Oh, I want that player, let me buy them. I want that mode, let me buy that.
Right.
Now we don't just pay $60 and get a game. We gotta assemble what we want.
You assemble the game.
It's got a gacha too.
Yeah, it's got gacha, and all this stuff. By the way, that you pre-order, if you pre-order it now, even though the game releases at certain point, I don't know if it's already released. Actually, it might be. You can't actually use all this stuff you pre-order until November. So what the fuck? What are we doing? So yeah, I'm gonna go with when I was seeing the stuff for this, I actually just completely hit my face to the desk. I was why was this your thought process? I actually think that FIFA could just be a free-to-play game and still be 100% perfect. It doesn't need to be purchased anymore.
No, yeah. I mean, Madden and FIFA could both be free-to-play games, and they don't.
Should pay me to play Madden.
Yeah, pretty much. They make the majority of their money on. They wouldn't lose that much profit if they made the game free to play. They really wouldn't. I don't think they make that much from just selling the game.
Obviously, they'd lose money, but at the same time, it's just but you'd probably get more people to play it. in this case, I don't even think the free-to-play side of it is the problem. The problem is it's literally a chunked game that just shouldn't be a chunked game. It just really shouldn't be. So this is my problem with this more than anything besides the weird like pre-order for your gotcha stuff. Looks kind of silly. So anyway, I thought this was just like kind of gross, and I wanted to post it for this. It made me a little bit like sick to my stomach. Just like, why would you do that? You didn't even need to. But I don't even think free to play is a bad idea. You got to compete with FIFA, and like free to play might be the way to go. But this is not like this system is not the way. So
I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, I mean, yeah, this is a stupid, terrible system. But is this any worse than FIFA? I mean, maybe a little bit, but barely. Like, FIFA is so predatory. Like, I don't know.
No. FIFA's bad. The Ultimate Team is really bad. Like we know that. FIFA, the Ultimate Team is pure like toxicity. But actually, like if I'm gonna be completely honest, the single player stuff in FIFA is still like nice. It's still fun. It's like they actually like made it more like you could just play the single player in FIFA and be perfectly fine.
Is FIFA actually functional as opposed to Madden, which isn't?
Oh no. FIFA is a functional game. They actually make it a functional game. It feels like you're playing the same game, year to year, but at the same time, it's not a buggy mess, and it plays fine. Like I have played, think FIFA like 2019 and FIFA 2017 or 16, and I got them for a combined total of $10. It's like I just played the single player stuff. The single player stuff's fun. Like building a team is fun in that. Like that is fun. And they're like my player mode. You can actually conceivably make a really good my player, and you don't have to like pay money for it, and you don't have to dump hundreds of dollars into it. I made within about a year in the game, and that's like 30 games. It's like 30 games. I almost thought 40, but I think it's 30, depending on where you are. Like you could do that in FIFA too. Like the games aren't that long. Not as short as like when you play like MLB The Show. Those games are really short when you're playing a my player. But like it's like 10 minutes. Whereas NBA 2K, it is a horrible grind. So I will give FIFA credit that their single player modes, you can play those and still have a lot of fun, and it doesn't feel like a toxic like waste. Like NBA 2K is a waste. Like even their my player mode, it's not a single player mode. It's a multiplayer. It's an online mode. You can't play it. You just can't.
Well, yeah, you have to like pay for like player upgrades,
and your player doesn't upgrade fast at all. Like it's the slowest upgrade you can do, and at some point, I think you just can't upgrade it anymore. You have to pay to upgrade. So it's toxic. But the FIFA, you could at least do it. Like I had like over 90 overall player in FIFA within 1.5 seasons of playing the game, and that it didn't take me long to do that. It's 100% feasible, and it's actually entertaining. Madden sucks. Madden is buggy, and the game logically doesn't work. I every time I see a Madden video, I laugh my ass off. I saw one the other day where the defensive player, the cornerback, was lined up on the receiver, and I'm fairly certain it was supposed to be man-to-man coverage, and the receiver went this way, vertical, and the defensive player, as soon as he started running, went that way. The complete opposite direction. This way. Not opposite as in like this. I mean, sorry, like just like the direction that you conceivably like do. It just doesn't work in football at all. There's no defensive scheme that makes this work. So it's like Madden is broken on a logical point as well, but like FIFA's not. FIFA actually logically makes sense. For the most part, it's a video game, so you suspend your disbelief. It still works. Yeah, FIFA's online modes are completely like disgusting. Anyway, moving on, or any other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say about this is that like Konami is a company that just spams pachinko machines basically for a living, so this doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Like that they would try. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a Konami move.
Konami has completely like abandoned their franchises: Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Contra, like they've tried to make a few like newer versions of it, but then they just inundate them with microtransactions and make them awful. So yeah,
which I don't
Konami
get.
sucks.
Which I don't
And
get.
this is just like
So
it's a
basically,
microtransaction laden sports game as we expect.
Yep. So okay, I got two more things
so
here. Oh, go ahead.
basically, fuck Konami.
Yeah,
That's all.
it's like some of those franchises Konami made you a lot of money. Like, don't make it make you more money than this will. I don't know if this will actually make that much. I mean, it makes enough, I guess, for them to keep making it, but I don't know. Okay. So the other thing that happened this week is the Pokemon online trading card game is shutting down in lieu of Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. So there's a couple things to this that I think are important. Number one, it's not even the fact that the other one's shutting down. But whatever. You come up with a new that game was like it's 10 years old. They're not going to try and like update it beyond what it's already at. You make a new one with more up to date graphics and animations, things like that. Like, okay, it makes sense. Fine with that. Magic the Gathering did that. MTG Online is absolutely not a good online card game, but MTG Arena functions much more modern. So the approach is they're going to do this modern game. Here's some issues that people had. I'm just going to go highlight the issues. Number one, it is a modern online card game. It is not a trading card game. It is just a card game. Much like Hearthstone, you cannot trade cards anymore. Anytime you get more than 4 copies of a card, they get dusted. Very similar to how Hearthstone or other card games would do it. Though in Hearthstone, you actually have to manually dust them. I don't know if in this you have to manually do it, automatically does it. But that's important because if you transfer your account from the online TCG that currently exists, you actually don't transfer all the copies of your cards. You only transfer up to 4. All those other cards get dusted into the new game. Additionally, there's no trading. That means that the trading marketplace completely shuts down, and all the people that relied on that to actually make their functional decks can no longer do that. So they have to rely on this dusting system. Which also means that your packs that you accumulate, which some people have accumulated a lot of packs to trade, they also get dusted. And you get equivalent value for those packs into the new game. So if a pack costs 100 dust and you had 1 extra pack, you get 100 dust in the new game instead of the pack. And then you have to go repurchase it in the new game. I'm going to safely assume that all the TCG sets are in this. I don't know, maybe they'll have like a stopping point. Just because like I don't know if they like actually are going to pull the entire, or if like the online TCG had the entire database of all the sets, even like the base set, the first edition sets. So it'll be interesting to see if they have that. I don't know that, but people were not particularly enthusiastic about the trading aspect being taken away. This felt like for some folks a let's take away features as opposed to like adding new things in.
Yeah.
I do think it's good that they're actually allowing people to transfer accounts. I think if they didn't do that, people would protest.
That would be a riot. That would be a riot.
Yeah, people would have protested this and not played it. I don't even think this would have been downloaded.
Huge collections in the online TCG.
Yeah, so
come on.
They have to do that. That is you have to do that. My other side comment is, and I've seen some opinions on this, and I want to make it known that I have this opinion. I do not like these avatars. I don't. It's like weird. It's weird. I think they should have gone more of the Pokemon aesthetic from the games type of avatars, not like these more realistic looking things that when I look at them on this screen, in particular on the right side, clearly are dead inside. So,
I mean, they look more realistic, but at the same time, they kind of just look like plastic figures or
they
something.
do.
Like
they look like dolls.
Yeah.
They look like dolls. Now that you mention that. So yeah. The I'm going to say it. Obviously, the Pokemon card game is extremely popular right now. Probably the most popular it's been in the last like 5 to 10 years. So it's relevant to make this happen. I don't know how long this has been in development. Could be like a couple of years in the works. So it makes sense to release something like this now. But I think there are a lot of people who are sore about the trading being gone. They look like bad Sims characters. Actually, yes. Yes, actually,
Yeah,
yes.
that is correct.
That is the correct answer. So, I don't. None of you guys play the online TCG, which I don't even play it much at all anyway. Really, I don't. But I thought this is. I mean, it's relevant. The trading card game online has not been updated with a you know, from like 10 years ago. Really, it has not been updated. So
Other than like adding the new cards to the game
right,
when the sets come out, I assume.
right.
Yeah.
Not much has changed. I imagine a little bit, but like this looks more modern. The game looks more modern here. Obviously, they're trying to make it more modernized, like other online card games. So it makes sense. And I do like some parts of it. I like how the effects go on the board like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, this is. I don't know when this is releasing. By the way, I think they actually mentioned this in here at some point. Oh, I guess there isn't anything here. I thought there was like a release date, but I'm wrong. So anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty unfortunate when they release like, a new version of something, or and they take features out. People are
Yeah.
never gonna be happy. People are never gonna be happy about that. We're like, oh, we had a trading feature and now we took it out. Though, as you mentioned, that's pretty standard nowadays as far as like online card games go, like Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other ones, but
MTG Arena is the same way. You can't trade.
yeah, you can't trade. It's
No.
just you have to dust or like buy packs. That's
Yeah,
it.
MTG
Right.
does like wild cards. It doesn't matter. It's a similar system. It's a similar system.
So yeah, they're just bringing in line with other trading card, like online trading card games, I guess. But at the same time, it feels pretty bad as if you're a player of this or collector, either way, and you use this and they just straight rip a feature out. It's like, hey, we're upgrading Pokemon trading card game, but we're taking a feature out of the game.
Yeah,
great, thanks.
Because that's what modern online card games do, and so we gotta be like them. Like, or you could, not.
Yeah,
Not.
they should cross out trading and Pokemon trading card game. It just be Pokemon card game online because it's not a trading card
Yeah,
game.
no, that's the other thing too. I think is hilarious. It's like Pokemon trading card game live, but it's like you don't really trade. You just sort of like you're just purchasing with dust. It's a dust purchase. It's not a trade. It's a dust purchase.
Well, Pokemon buying card game does not sound nearly as good.
No, it doesn't. Pokemon card game live also doesn't sound as good because it takes trading card game. You have to trade for the IRL codes. That's it, and you trade with real money. So there you go. That's the trade. You trade with your money.
That doesn't get you specific card. Like,
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
If you trade for code cards, like you're getting a pack, you don't get the specific card you want.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is you can't just trade for specific cards now, which is what people did. Though it remains to be seen like how egregious, because in Hearthstone, for example, legendary cards to dust them it's expensive in terms of dust. It's like 1,600 dust, if I'm not mistaken, which that's actually quite a bit if you're free to play in particular. Like epic cards, I think, are 800, and then it goes 400, 140, something like that. I think it's that. I might be wrong, or is it 1,600, 400? It's something like that.
The number isn't really the relevant thing, though, right? It's how much dust you get when you dust a card that's the same quality. I think in Hearthstone it's like 25%.
It's really bad. Yeah, it's like 25%.
If you dust if you dust a legendary in Hearthstone, I'm pretty sure you get 400, and it costs 1,600 to create a legendary.
Which, as a system, by the way, like it makes sense business wise. It just pisses me off though.
Also, Hearthstone's
it pisses me off.
Also, Hearthstone's packs are like $2 for 5 cards. Like,
no,
it's
yeah,
bad.
it's really bad. Arena is also expensive. Yes, Arena is expensive. Like, I can also tell you that I'm free to play in Arena, and it's expensive as fuck. So you like this is what happens. So yeah, I mean, like, it's tough. But the online card games getting modernized and gotta take features away, I guess. So though they could,
Yeah.
I really wish they didn't. Like that trading thing in the online card game was really cool. It set up a really cool, like, oh, if I buy like 5 online packs, I can go get this card in the online game. I don't even have to open those packs. I can just go grab my deck this way. I mean, obviously, you'll still be able to redeem your pack codes. Actually, I don't know. I think the pack codes won't change much for the actual card game. So I think that's a good sign too, that you don't have to, like. I don't think they're going to change the codes on the code cards at all. That would be silly if they did.
I would think not. But
yeah, I would think not. Otherwise, that would be like crazy for some folks who, like. Well, for me, I have a stockpile of them over here that I just don't use because for a number of reasons, and that would be crazy for me to have to like scramble and put them all in, like just to get them transferred. That would be a pain in the ass. So.
And I assume they're going to shut down the old one at some point.
Yes, they are. I think they said that they were shutting it down. You will not be able to play it, which they obviously are going to do that because then the concern would be, will anybody play our new shiny toy if the old one exists? And nobody would play the. No, I don't think as many people would play the new shiny toy.
If the old one has better features, then nobody's gonna
exactly
like.
There are some other things that this one I'd be curious about. The old one has tournaments that you can play in for like non-standard, I guess, modern modes. So like you can just take pre-built decks into tournaments. It's kind of a nice way to win some rewards while also not having to be a paid player. You can play free to play because they're pre-made decks. They're easy to get, and you're also provided them. So yeah. So yeah. This is happening though. I don't know exactly when. Just is coming soon. So there you go. I think I'm a little surprised they didn't mention any of the Pokemon stuff like this in the direct. I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get anything Pokemon in the direct.
I'm a little surprised.
Sure.
I mean, Pokemon Company has their own presentations pretty often. So
they just had a Pokemon direct like not that long ago.
Yeah, so they talked about
like
this
a month
stuff.
ago or something, a few weeks. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. It wasn't that long ago. But I was surprised that this in particular wasn't mentioned. Like this is a really new development that I feel like there might be worth some conversation to people. So anyway, this was on Twitter a couple days ago. It's relevant. The last thing I have here, besides talking about upcoming game releases, is the Respawn response that you had here, Spoon.
Yeah. I saw this on Twitter and then this article.
Yeah, the tweet that we're talking about here is, contrary to what some folks are reporting, which I actually don't even know what the reports were initially, Titanfall is very core of our DNA. Is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? So I think the initial comments here that I'm looking at were, there's nothing there. We've got too many other games in the works right now. Speaking about how the Titanfall franchise there wasn't anything currently in development. So I think we talked about this like a week or two ago, right? We talked about this a week ago.
Well, because there was that GE Force leak and Titanfall 3 was on it, and you were like, "Nope, that's BS."
That's what I said. It's like, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like that seems like a placeholder. That doesn't make sense. Like, they're not working on that. I'm standing by that. I really don't think
standing by that.
Yeah, no, I'm standing by it. Look, Respawn's social media person can say this. Like, they're welcome to say it as long as they've gotten it approved to say it.
Yeah, this doesn't mean anything. This may mean we would like to work on a new Titanfall, but EA won't let us. So,
but Apex Legends, though.
Yeah, this there's no Titanfall 3 in the works, in my opinion. I don't see it. I think the real decision maker on that is EA, and I think EA is looking at them going, "Excuse me, we have a moneymaker. What do you mean Titanfall 3? Where you gonna? They're not going to do that unless they come up with some really calculated strategy to EA and say, hey, we're going to put this much money making material in the game, so it's going to be really lucrative. But I don't see it. I just don't see.
But then the gamers are going to be upset if there's a shit ton of microtransactions, and it's just like
right. So that's why EA is probably going to. EA knows that. I mean, like they're going to know that too.
They,
like, okay, well,
they tried to do it.
Like you already have a free to play game where the microtransactions are tolerated, so stick with that. Stick with your Apex Legends game. Stop. This isn't happening. I just don't see it. As much as people who really want this really desire it, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. EA's already investing in single player projects that I think are riskier than they normally would like 2 to 3 years ago. Like Dead Space is a risk. It is a risk for them because that's not as much money as they could make, like with FIFA, for example. So that's a risk. At this point, I think EA's thought process is if it's a single player game, it's a risk. It basically has to be it has to knock it out of the park, which Jedi Fallen Order did. So that's the reason why they've circled back to this. Titanfall 3 is a multiplayer game. With I think Titanfall 2 had single player campaign, but at the same time, it's not Apex Legends. It's not FIFA. They're probably thinking, okay, how much money is in it? Is it worth diverting your resources to that? Is probably what they're thinking. So I don't see it. As much as this tweet probably garnered people going, oh well, maybe they are. Maybe there's like a secret. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd like to see it happen. I would like to think that this tweet means more than it says, but I think I agree with you for the like 80 to 90%. Like this tweet is probably just kind of bait. It's like, yeah, we love Titanfall, but Papa EA.
Yeah, it's just like Papa EA is going to tell us what we can or can do, and I just don't like. I don't see it. Like I don't see them unless like they have the extra resources to do it. And EA's like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Like your Apex Legends makes this enough where we can see a diversion. If they're truly working on other games right now, I don't know. Like I guess it could be conceivably, but I don't see it personally. I think they already mentioned that like Apex Legends is in the Titanfall universe, so it's kind of a Titanfall game, just not the same type of type of genre, a little bit different. So I don't see it though.
Yeah, I mean, people want a lot of things. I want a lot of things. EA is not the place to ask. Like
this is true.
Not
it's
it.
So true. It's
like
it really is true.
You were saying it's like, oh, if EA has extra resources, if they have extra resources, they're going to the shareholders. They're not going to making Titanfall.
Correct.
Like it's just
they put they put a Titanfall character in Apex.
Anytime EA asks EA is asked for something by gamers or by their fans, it goes squarely into the I'll put that under advisement folder. Like they don't care.
Which is why Dead Space was such a shock to me, because I think people were asking for it and they actually did it. And that's why I was so shocked at that one, because it was extremely surprising to see a cult franchise get like a remaster. That's why it was like so surprising. EA greenlit that? Okay, it's not like Mass Effect. Mass Effect's big enough where doing a remaster makes sense. But like, I guess Dead Space was pretty big for a horror game.
But like, it's not a new game.
No, it's not.
That's the thing, right? Yeah. Like, how much money does it cost to make a remaster?
Depends on what they're doing. But yeah, like in this case,
they're remaking
a game that's already HD.
They're. It seemed like based on what they've been talking about in some of their videos, they're remaking quite a bit of it. Graphically speaking,
Well-
the mechanics of how you actually take down the monsters. There's a lot. There's more work than maybe needs to be done. So that's saying
Yeah,
something.
I mean, with that, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Like, with EA, it is, I think, good practice to just assume the worst.
Probably true. But yeah. So I don't. Yeah. Back to Titanfall. Titanfall was fun, but I mean, those games playable again? Did they fix the issues with the online in those games, or are they still unplayable right? Maybe that's a good question that I'm sure I think the answer is no. You can't.
I feel like I saw something that they might have fixed it, but maybe I'm blowing smoke out my ass on that one. I don't remember.
It'd be interesting to know that because like, okay, well, you want Titanfall 3, they're not fixing the current ones at all. Like I just are they playable at all?
Yeah.
I think Steam was the issue in particular. So are they playable on Steam?
Oh, I mean, imagine Steam actually doing anything other than counting money.
Steam's like something's happening in Titanfall. Will that affect our money? No. Okay. Oh well.
The video just cuts to Gabe Newell swimming in a in
"Is that
a
gonna affect
Scrooge
me?"
McDuck money pool.
1 billion 1, 1
think
billion
it's-
2, 1 billion 3.
Yeah. If they fixed it, great. That's nice. That's good that they fixed it because they definitely should have. So okay. Is there any other news we should be talking about? By the way, this is all we had on the dock and in
That's
Discord.
all. That is all
Yeah.
we had.
Okay. And if you ever need a pick me up, by the way, go ahead and watch some Madden videos on YouTube. Those will get you. I laugh every day at those. They're so good. They're so amazing to watch how bad a video game is made.
That game is so bad.
And makes billions of dollars, and it's just
so
such
bad.
a poorly made game.
It gets a 7 from review sites.
Oh, it got a 6. It got a 6 from IGN this year.
Yeah, GameSpot gave it a 7, which, by the way, is the same score they gave Tales of Arise, which is just insulting.
That is insulting. That's actually an insult. that is
offensive.
offensive because one of those games actually is functional. Madden is not functional. It's not.
Well, regardless of what you think of JRPGs, like, one of the games works. Like,
oh, oops! I forgot to change your name on this one. Hold on, let me fix that.
Oh, okay. Dodge is here.
Dodge is here.
Dodge taking a break from his Pokemon Nuzlocke to come on and
got it.
And yes, I realize that the reviewers are very different. But one of the big complaints in the Tales of Arise review on GameSpot was about the DLC practices, which I don't like. I'll be honest, but come on, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not buying the DLC practice in this one. Like, I think it's obviously not something you want, but I'm not buying that as like, oh, I'm giving it -1 or 2 as a score. It's like, fuck off. Like, there are plenty of single player games that do this, and I don't think you're being as harsh with them. So you can fuck off on this one.
There are arts locked behind it. Like that's what I don't like. I don't care about the costumes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
there are
that
some, plasma
titles.
shock move that Alphen has. Like, you don't get that if you have the standard edition. The Orochi's whatever, like, that's not in the standard edition either.
Interesting. So
there's a few titles. There's a few titles and a few arts that are locked behind the DLC.
Okay,
which is pretty stupid.
I retract a little bit, but I still don't think it deserves like -2 points or anything like that. I think that's like pushing it.
I mean, the game is perfectly playable without it. Like, it's not like you have to grind if you don't.
I don't have. I didn't buy any of the DLC, and I'm not like struggling to beat the game or anything.
Yeah, it's not like Assassin's Creed where you're just
the person in the review is like, "Ugh, the game's too hard. I feel like the game wants me to buy DLC to make it easier." It's like,
dude, just turn the difficulty down.
I'm sorry. Like, I don't usually like this argument, but like, get good, learn to play the game. Like, the game is not that hard, and also if it is hard, turn it down to. There's an easy difficulty. There's 4 freaking difficulties at the start. Like, just turn the difficulty down if it's too hard for you.
What if they're on easy already? What if they're on the easiest difficulty?
Then they're bad. Then they're bad. And they need to learn then just learn to play the game and stop button mashing. Like, just learn to play the game. I'm sorry. Like, just please.
Yeah. Okay.
The game is not Dark Souls. It's not designed to be difficult, especially on the lower difficulties, I'm sure.
Sure. It's not that, of course. Okay, well let's we're already talking about it, so let's hone in on it for the rest of the episode.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the upcoming releases, or is that?
Okay. I guess we can mention. Can we mention a couple? I think so. I don't have the overlay on. I'm just gonna mention some that I think are worth mentioning. And if I didn't mention the one you like, I apologize. I'm gonna mention ones that I think are like big names. Okay. So Ghost already mentioned Astria Ascending. I haven't really heard of that, but you mentioned it before. So that is next week, next Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Next Thursday,
Okay.
week.
It's made by some like former Final Fantasy people.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has it has like a 2D like. It's not an Octopath style, but it like the game looks gorgeous, like visually with the 2D
Did we see
style.
this before? Have we seen?
It was
this
on.
before?
It was on a Nintendo Direct. It might have been the E3 Nintendo
It's in
Direct.
one of the montages, though. It wasn't like
Okay,
prominently featured.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's an interesting style. It's really interesting.
Yeah. The game's really pretty.
It's like in a good way. It looks really cool. Okay, I like that. Okay, so besides that too, we have next week New World, which I'll be playing. eFootball 2022, the thing we just said was gross, is next week as well. All right, let's go down to October now. October has the Alan Wake remastered game, which we saw a couple weeks ago, because that was the PlayStation one.
Yeah.
So that was a couple weeks ago.
It was either last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I
it was
don't
like
remember. I think it was actually last week.
Was it? Okay. This is
Maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
One of those, maybe 2 weeks ago. All right. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, as well as Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. Far Cry 6. All those, by the way, are in the same week. 5th for the previous two that I mentioned, and the 7th for Far Cry 6. Metroid Dread is the next day on the 8th.
Yeah,
Back for
Friday.
Blood. Oh, yep. Back for Blood is on the 12th. Let me see here. This is on here. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is the 28th. The 26th of October. Age of M. Oh, okay. Super Robot Wars 30, 27th. Age of Empires 4, the 28th. Mario Party Superstars, the big game of the year, the 29th. So that's next month. Next month has some good stuff. There's some tasty morsels in there, I think. There isn't actually as much listed here for November and December, but other relevant ones for November are Skyrim Special Edition, November 11th.
Another
very exciting.
What is it, like Skyrim for arcade cabinet this time or something? Like
PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S.
Elder Scrolls 6 is vaporware at this point. Like they're just going to keep remaking Skyrim.
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Weebs rejoice.
Yep, Weebs rejoice.
Yeah.
Battlefield 2042, Pokemon remakes. Is this a Final Fantasy expansion? Endwalker?
Yeah, Endwalker is the FF14 expansion.
Okay. December is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Something there. Yeah. That's December 3rd. I see some Danganronpa stuff here for December 3rd as well.
Danganronpa and Decadence. It's a remaster. It's not a new game.
Okay. Yeah, I think
collection.
They're putting all 3 games on Switch. It's
gotcha.
Not a new game though.
I do see Halo Infinite here for December 8th. And that's what I've got for. There's like some other stuff here that they say isn't completely announced for a release date, but those are the big things for the next couple months. Yeah. So I think next month is good.
I say for January, Elden Ring and Pokemon Legends Arceus are both coming out in January.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Elden Ring is the one that everyone's just going to have their sweet release for, but you know,
the internet might have the biggest release.
I'm gonna play. I am gonna play that, but there is a certain subset of people. It's like if From Software's names on it, like it's a 15 out of 10. Like it's
a 10 out of 10 for sure. There's no flaws. So I do think there's some cool stuff in here. I'm very curious about the Guardians of the Galaxy game. I still want to. we still think it's a flop, right, Spoon? We still predict it's going to flop. Do we predict that?
Yeah, I don't. It might review okay. Like I think it might actually end up being a decent game,
Mhm.
but I don't see it selling particularly well. I'm not seeing the hype around it that you might expect. People are kind of like, well, that's a game that exists. Maybe I'll play it at some point when it's on sale, or I don't know.
That's how I feel.
Like,
It's like it's a good on sale game, but on release, it feels like there wasn't as much interest. Like Marvel's Avengers had interest. And this, I think people remember that and they're like, no, we're going to wait on this one.
I think this game will. Well, first of all, I'll say, I don't know. This game looks, from what I've seen, this game looks better than Avengers. First of all, it's not a freaking live service game. It's like it looks like a single player experience. Like maybe they'll have some DLC down the line and add some stuff, but like it's a single player game. You know, no like loot boxes or loot system or whatever that Avengers did. So I think it's more interesting to me than Avengers was. But
yeah,
I mean,
you're setting the bar real high there, Spoon.
Fair.
It'll be better than Avengers. Like, well, yeah. I mean, hopefully, if it's worse than that, that is a complete failure, and Square will be like, well, we've exercised the Marvel brand.
Square,
I mean,
we've failed.
That's like saying Square cleared 3 feet in the high jump. Like it's not hard.
Like, well, we've really put the run in with this brand, and Marvel's gonna be like, well, you tried, and that's all we can ask of you. I guess.
Good try, Square.
Good try.
You gave it the old college try, but you cannot use our license anymore. Thanks.
They're like, we'll go ahead and take this back, and we'll hand it to somebody else. We'll give it to somebody else who will actually.
I mean, by the time that goes up the chain to Disney, they're just going to be like, "Oh, did this make money?"
And they're like, "No, actually, it didn't. They lost."
Oh, okay. Now we take it back. No, we can't.
All right, no, take it back. Take it back. You lost tens of millions of dollars, sir. Mickey Mouse just there going, "Oh, what?
No!
Get that the fuck out of here! Oh.
Shut down those servers! Oh.
Shut the servers down!" Oh my god. So okay, now we've talked about the upcoming releases. We did it some justice. Okay.
Yep.
Now we can have a Tales discussion. So I think we should say once again, we are not going to lean into spoiler territory too far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
keep everything vague.
We'll keep things vague. That'd be nice for me too.
Yeah.
Disclosure being, I think you guys are either finished or almost finished. I would imagine at this point.
I am what I believe is in the final dungeon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm one area before that.
Okay. So they're very far and I'm not. And I've got like a general feeling of the non-story stuff. I'll have like some opinions on how I feel about the current plot of the story and the current first twist of the game, which are it's not a twist. It's just like the most predictable, silly thing I've seen. But the yeah, so let's start with Ghost actually, since we talked about it last week. How do you feel? How do you feel? You're almost done with the game. I feel like at this point you can 95% confidence say how you feel about this game. Besides, I mean, unless like the final boss sucks.
Let me. I know we're not going to talk about the story, but Ghost, have you gotten the answers yet to the questions, or are you still not quite there yet?
I mean, I'm not really quite sure what you're referring to. I mean, like there was one major reveal that I got to yesterday, but I haven't gotten on the ship yet. So I'm gonna say no.
Oh shit.
Okay. Ship. I think I know what you're talking about, but DM me where you are and like what location you're at in the game. But I think I know what you're talking about.
There's some messaging going on.
Okay, yeah, he has not gotten the answers yet.
Okay, so he doesn't have the answers. Got it. Okay, well, even before
probably
the
gonna
answers,
get him tonight.
Even before Oh, okay.
Tonight or tomorrow.
Okay, I guess there's a lot of cutscenes. Yeah.
There's a point you get to, like, I played last night and I did like 2 boss fights and a little bit of like non-boss fight combat, and I played for like 4 hours, and it was like just plot dump, like nothing but fucking plot dump, basically. So
that actually segues into like what I was partially into what I was gonna say.
Okay,
So I guess you're asking
please.
for overall thoughts or
Yeah, of course.
impressions.
Yes.
So I guess I'll start with the bad. Is that the pacing of the main plot is complete trash. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything, but basically you go through the 5 realms and basically nothing is happening, and then at the end there's going to be some weird, like, I haven't gotten all of the answers yet, but like it's probably going to be like there was some, godlike entity that we have to slay with the power of friendship.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah, like basically, like there's like nothing happening for the first 3 realms. Like nothing that has happened that you have seen thus far, Otto, is relevant at all.
I imagine that, yes.
Like
I'm guessing that.
Other than like the overall setup of the story, which
You're
is
just getting
like
you're getting your party members and you're learning more about the world.
The crown contest and like the absorption of astral energy from Dana is actually important to the main plot. You don't know why, but it's important to the main plot.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
no, I'm gathering that they're doing it for a reason. That's easy to at least guess. Like you don't just do it for the
not
sake of it.
decide who the next King of Rena is going to be. Like I don't think that's really that big of a spoiler.
Yeah, I don't.
Right.
Again, like I don't think it's that either. Like there's something that I'm guessing things, but I'm just letting myself be open to a lot of like information. I'm not trying to guess too much.
I guess like my biggest issue with the main plot is that it has issues kind of similar to Scarlet Nexus, actually, where like stuff just happens. It's not really foreshadowed. It just sort of happens, and like it's not as big of an asshole as the Infiniteness Moon twist from Scarlet Nexus.
Yep.
I think it's been long enough that we can, we don't have to be too careful about spoiling Scarlet Nexus.
You're fine.
I think that was vague enough that you didn't quite explain what it was, but
the
like,
Moon twist of Nexus was
it's not quite that bad.
Sure.
But like it's kind of similar in that like stuff just kind of happens, and then
you're like,
and
well,
it's not like justifying stuff that you've seen before. It's just like, oh, okay, surprise, right?
Like that. Well, that's interesting. Did that mean anything to me? Do I have any answers to what's been going on so far? Nope, not at all. I just have more questions. Why the fuck did that just happen? Like,
right.
Okay. But aside from that, I mean, that's like my one big issue with the game is actually the plot. I really like the characters. I think the party has a nice dynamic. It takes a long time to actually get all of them.
Sure.
And like for the most part, I think the characters grow throughout the story. Rinwell definitely does. Like she is a huge racist when you first get her, but and like I don't know, Kisara doesn't actually grow that much, but like pretty much everyone else I think has a good arc.
Okay.
Kisara does a little bit. She kind of like finds the answers that she's looking for, and
don't
like the stuff you're about to get into, Ghost, like Dohalim gets a lot of stuff in the next arc of the story for you.
Yeah, so, I kind of figured as much because he's kind of tied into the main story. So, yeah, I mean, but like most importantly, and this is something that the Tales series really rarely fails at, is the game is really fun to play. Like the combat feels really good outside of a couple of boss fights. Actually, the one that you're about to do, Otto, the final boss of Cislodia is probably the worst boss fight in the game.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's too much of a clusterfuck. Like
it's just a big. I think your resources at that point are just too limited. If that fight was a little later in the game, I think it would be okay. But like,
is it just like ads with the boss? Is that the problem, or is it something completely different?
There is a phase where like he makes clones of himself.
Oh, okay. Don't go any further then.
That's it.
Yeah, I'd
So,
prefer not to go any
yeah.
further than that. Yeah, I don't do well with ads in this game so far. The boss fight that I just did with ads, I
The ooze.
yeah, I didn't
That
like
fight
that.
was that fight was annoying too.
I didn't like that because the ooze
Yeah.
monsters they did the one water spell. I forgot what it's called.
Spread.
Spread,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, spread. There you go. So yeah, that spell's not particularly fun to play against, and your character's melee and like a lot of what the boss does triggers against melee. Like he screams and you just get knocked back. And I'm like, okay, well this is kind of like I'm kind of just letting the range characters take out the boss, and I'll just kill the minions. That's kind of what I did.
That boss sucked too. The ad waves on hard actually had five.
Oh yeah, that must
it
suck.
It was really bad.
That must suck.
On modern, I think it was only 3.
Yeah, it's only 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still annoying.
Yeah, I am playing on hard, by the way. I don't think I said that, but yeah. And there's one other boss actually. It's the Gigant Zoogles in the 5th realm, where it's like it's one of those elemental mass guys, but it splits into 4.
Oh.
And when you get him below half, like he starts spamming the top level spells. And so like if you ever get to a point where Rinwell's thing is on cooldown, he will just kill you. Like it's
Oh yeah, because you can't steal.
Kill all your allies. Like you can survive it. Like they're not hard to dodge, but your allies aren't going to. So
yeah, I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Actually, but keep going, please.
But yeah, other than that, like the game is just really fun to play. The side content is kind of like just more excuses to have you go fight stuff, which I'm kind of okay with, to be honest.
Yeah. It's good for early game too, by the way. You get resources from it. Helps you early game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the only way to get gold and SP early in the game, so you kind of need to do side quests early in the game.
I think it's definitely not required, but encouraged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the game looks really good, the presentation is really good. I was kind of expecting the world design to be a little bit less linear than it is. But maybe like the term wide linear that they used before the game came out, to me that means like Xenoblade. But I guess that's not what they meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've mentioned all the major points. Like the only thing that I have significant issues with is the actual plot.
Sure.
Because it kind of seems like they wanted to like. It kind of seems like they wanted to just tell the story of like liberating Donna, but then they were like, well, we have to have something to tie this all together at the end. Like, and
True.
I kind of wonder if it might have been better if they had just had like, Rena like after you finish, like Rena would just like re-invade, and then you'd have to fight them off, and then go there and take the fight to them. Like maybe a more straightforward story without all of these crazy like Deus Ex plot twists might have been better. But I haven't seen the answers yet, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is actually really good, and it's just bad pacing.
So yeah, I will say this: I have gotten the answers to the questions. And all the questions that you have, and there were parts of it that I guessed, and other parts that were like, okay, that's pretty cool and pretty interesting. So, I will say I like the plot, but yeah, the pacing is ass, and they don't foreshadow really anything at all until you get the answers. Like when you get the answers all make sense. It justifies what's going on and the state of the world. It justifies pretty much everything. So the answers, in my opinion, are really, really good. The problem is they all come like a few hours before the end of the game, and it's just like incessant plot dump. And it's like, okay, we could have spread this out, or there could have been things like on Dana that like foreshadowed it a little bit better. There could have been like skits or conversations that like, hey, we thought this and this and this happened in Renan history, or like there are these things that you can find throughout Dana that like
clue you in on it.
That could clue you in a little bit. They wouldn't give you the answer, like you couldn't guess it. You wouldn't have enough information. But when you got the answer, you'd be like, oh man, that makes so much more sense now. I mean, there was still that, but they just could have done so much better of a job foreshadowing things. Like, especially with, there's one twist, like, in particular that this one again happens a little early on before you get the answers. That is like, again, it's interesting, but like they literally could have had like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue from like Dohalim that could have at least foreshadowed it a little bit. And it just would have helped, in my opinion, so much to make it less of an ass pull twist.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I will say it's not really a twist if A, it's completely, you can't predict it, or B, it's so obvious it's not a twist. That's those are my 2 issues, and I think they go in that direction. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not good. I will say it's probably
this
not
is the
good.
thing.
If
It's like you can have good ideas, but like
Hmm.
pacing and foreshadowing are actually important.
Right.
Like, I mean, Xenoblade 2 is probably not the greatest idea of good or the greatest example of good pacing, but when it comes to like foreshadowing, like all the stuff that you learn about Jin in the during the World Tree climb justifies his actions to that point.
Yes.
And it kind of pulls everything together. And I think you probably could guess some of it. And like, let's see.
You could definitely guess some of it. It's good. Very good.
I mean,
I'll
you
go back.
haven't played this auto, but like Trails of Cold Steel 1 is a good example too of like there's a big plot twist at the end of the game where it's like, oh, like all this stuff from the last 2 chapters, it all makes sense now, like why this character had to be missing for this and like all this other stuff. Right? That's a good plot twist, not just pulling it out of your ass.
No, I agree. It's the Scarlet Nexus Moon thing is not a good twist because it's just like, well, how could I have predicted that?
And I'll go to another Tales game real quick that like has a similar structure to this game, at least early on, and that's Tales of Symphonia. That's the first or the one that put Tales on the map, at least in the West. Otto, I know you haven't played it, but the beginning of Tales of Symphonia is like, hey, it's the simple MacGuffin quest. It's just like, hey, we're gonna go to these 4 shrines, and then once we go to the 4 shrines, we go to the center of the world, and we do the thing that does the thing. You get to the center, you do the 4 shrines, and then you go to the place, and there's a big plot twist. Everything you thought that was a thing isn't a thing. It's like, no, it's all a big fucking lie, and it makes no sense.
I think we got this plot twist. I actually got this one unintentionally from like our Dungeons and Dragons or something. I think I was unintentionally told
not
this one.
really. I mean, you got from the D&D campaign, you got that the angels were the bad guys, but
I get like, okay, if you haven't played Tales of Symphonia, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. Spoiler alert. You are basically told at the beginning of the game you have a character who's like the chosen, and you are going like unlocking these shrines for the angels.
Yep.
And the angels are the good guys, and there's the like your world is dying, and if you go unlock the 4 shrines and then
you'll heal
do the thing, you heal the world, and you're following like the angels, and you have this chosen, and then you get to the Tower of Salvation, the center of the world place, and it turns out it was all a big lie. The angels were the bad guys, and fuck you. And one of your party members was also an angel, and he was spying on you the whole fucking time. Right. So,
well. And you're sort of leaving out the foreshadowing part of it is that after each time you like complete one of the shrines, the female lead of the game like loses like something essential to being a human. So I think like I can't remember the order, but one of them is like her ability to speak.
Okay.
So she has to like draw like stuff on the main character's hands to communicate and stuff. Like it's really well done.
Yeah. So she's losing pieces of herself. That's the keys. Like you're
like Tales of Symphonia has, in my opinion, the best plot in like a Tales series. It doesn't have the best cast, but it has the best plot in the Tales series. Like it's,
I think. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I cut you off.
That's about it. Like it's pretty well paced. Like there are some slow sections of it, but like there are multiple acts to the plot, and it's well placed. Like the foreshadowing is good. And the twists are very impactful, and like that's not the only twist in the game. There's like more twists that happen later that are, I don't know if quite as impactful, but they're good as well. Like,
yeah, I would say that like if you take story and characters as like the full package, I would actually probably go with Berseria because Berseria has a good plot and the cast is really colorful. Like Symphonia's biggest weakness is the characters aren't that great, but yeah, I agree with everything that Spoon said.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the ideas in the plot of Rise are like good and interesting, and it has like some sort of similarities to Symphonia in some ways, but it's just not executed nearly as well. And also that like that beginning part for in Symphonia is like 10 hours, whereas the Lord's quest in this game is like 30 hours or 40
Yeah.
hours even. Like,
Can we talk about
That's what
that
I-
actually, please?
That's what I was going to bring up. Actually, is
ahead,
that this section of the game that is basically a MacGuffin quest, whereas like you don't usually kill the MacGuffins, but that's what you're doing here. Like I finished the 5th realm at 40 hours. So if there's
Yeah,
nothing happening in the story for 40 hours, there are going to be people who stop playing. Like that's just a fact of life, right?
I think there are enough interesting events that happen to keep you going, but yeah, the main plot itself does not move forward much at all. Like,
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually want to talk about that a bit because this is a well, let's go with it's 35 hours. Let's bridge the gap. Let's bridge the gap safely?
yeah, I mean,
Go for the
it depends.
meat.
It's probably like
I've done basically everything though. So like for you, it's probably going to be closer to 30, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that then. It doesn't matter.
if you play exceptionally quickly, it's probably like 25, but it could go. I think mine was like close to 40.
I was
as
doing.
well.
I'm
Like
doing
35
side
to
quests.
40.
Like if I see a
Yeah,
side quest, I do it. So I'm doing
Yeah,
I
but
know
you're
you are.
not. You're not talking. You don't have the Trails syndrome of talking to
talk to everybody?
literally
No,
everybody.
because I
And,
know
like,
they have nothing.
You're
too
not going to
important
have to
say.
fish for ages because hard mode stole all your resources. Like,
Well,
yeah.
I think it'll probably be like 30 to 35 for
Okay.
you, Auto. Like where you
So,
like finish the realms.
Let's talk about this. First off, I am not like a heavy stickler on story. I just want to point this out. Like I'm perfectly fine with the Skyrim story. 100% perfectly fine with that. If the other stuff that you do is really strong. So Skyrim story is slay a dragon. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, I
And
think that's a fair summary.
that's all it is. It's literally just let's slay a dragon because the dragon wants to eat the world. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to know. And like for most people, that's not interesting at all. It's not an interesting plot. There's really not any big twists in there that I can think of. It's really simple and it's like 6 quests to do it. You could even do it accidentally without even triggering the quests because some quests like kind of mingle together into it. So
yeah,
it's really easy to do, and for most people, like most people, there's definitely going to be people out there like that. This is really dumb and stupid, which I agree with. But if the journey is exciting and fun, and there's like other parts of it that are interesting, I'm okay with it. It seems like each of these realms that you go into, these territories of the lords, obviously Calaglia served a purpose of getting you started, and the motivation was really straightforward. Like it's a very straightforward motivation of look, you want to break out of slavery, you want freedom. Okay, got it. Very good motivation. Good enough. You know, the second one is cool too, where the people they're spying on each other. It's cool to see like different forms of
oppression. It's oppression in a very different. It's a very different kind
like
of
fear.
oppression.
They're using fear in a different way. Like
social engineering.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like different levels of fear, which is it's like obviously serious topic, but very cool, and that makes it interesting. So, like that being said, like the plot of the story currently is just we have to kill these 5 dragons, and that's okay. That being said, you could finish Skyrim's main story outside of speedrunner people in maybe 5 hours. So like the pain of the boring ass plot is very limited, and you have like so much other stuff to do, you don't really care. I'm worried that with no major plot that's interesting, and by the way, none of the lords are. I'm just gonna guess it. I don't think any of these lords are gonna be particular.
The villains suck.
Right.
Like I'm just gonna straight up say it. I mean,
I'm just gonna guess
the third lord is interesting.
Okay,
but there's a reason for that.
Okay, that's good though. That's good.
Yeah.
Apart from the pacing, the one thing that this game does it exceptionally poorly is villains. Like villains are like they're either Dr. Meanbad or they're non-existent,
Right,
basically.
which
just like okay.
Also is problematic Again, Skyrim, Anduin's not interesting. So like, there's a certain level that I'm okay with as long as everything else is really enjoyable and like there's some other interesting stuff you can engage in, which there are, but you kind of have to find it, and that's like part of it. So it's got to be about the journey. So far, the journey's been fun. The characters are I like them. Um, Even with like Rinwell being racist, there's some
There's a good reason that she is
justify
that
things.
way.
You could like she obviously exhibits hatred for reasons that you could kind of go, okay, I can see that. And Alphen's glue. He's the glue guy. He's got to glue it all together, whether he likes it or not. He has to bring this team together that sometimes is at each other's throats. So that's like that journey kind of makes up for it for me. But I'm very aware that having 30 hours of Slay the Dragons and none of the dragons being interesting, I can see some people not liking that and not being interested in it.
Yeah. I mean, I will, like, part of the reason I said what I said earlier about, like, having the actual main plot being more straightforward and just, like, I usually don't like this, like, but just having it be, like, Rena is the bad guy and we're just fighting them in a war,
right,
is because there actually are a decent number of good moments as you go through the realms. Like, but, like, none of it has anything to do with the main plot.
Right.
It's it's really interesting for character growth. Sorry,
the
go ahead,
plots,
Spoon.
the plot. Yeah, no, I'm just building on what you're saying. The plots of the individual realms are interesting and different, and there are good moments within each of those individual plots for each of the realms, and there are good moments and interactions for each of the characters, which pushes the plot forward. But the plot itself doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, that's I mean again I haven't been there, but I'm guessing that that's just you slay 5 dragons, and I'm only saying that
no,
like, lords and dragons it's interchangeable.
Yes, it continues to like no, nothing changes. It's slay the 5 lords.
Like that's what it is.
It's go to the 5 towers and slay the 5 kings of the 5 castles.
Because your character wants that. Your party member wants that, and that's your motivation. You're tagging along to help them, and you have a motivation to do that as well. Because you obviously, given the backstory of your character and where you started, you exhibit negative feelings towards these lords. So of course you're going to be motivated to do that as well.
Most Danans do. They are
exactly.
oppressed.
Again, it's justifiable at the time. You're like, okay, I get it. Sure, yes, I get it. Your motivations are it makes sense to go for that.
Like
so yeah.
The point is that like what happens during the progression of the MacGuffin quest is actually, I think, somewhat interesting on its own. The problem is that once you finish the 5th MacGuffin, all of that goes out the window in lieu of this other stuff that is like, I can't really say anything about it without spoiling stuff.
Sure.
So, and I don't even know all the answers, but like, there really has barely been mention of any of the lords except one of them, like since I finished the 5th realm. And
it makes you feel like you've played a giant side quest. It really does at that point. I could see that from people. I'm not saying that's what it is, obviously, but like you could definitely get a player after that point being like, why not? Why are we diverting now? Why are we completely diverting over here? Why not just go with this? I think I think what you're saying, Ghostman. You just stick with that, and then like at some point, Rena's going to be like, hey, wait a second, all of our lords just died. We should do something about this.
Like, yeah, let's send in the spaceships.
Send in the spaceships and take them out, and then it's like it's a big space. It's a war, and then it just becomes a war. It's just like an all-out war, and that can be interesting. There are things in that can be interesting, and you can build on that. But that I actually think would work, even though it's simple. It would work.
If they wanted to tell the story they had now, again, like I don't know the answers, but like this is just purely a pacing analysis thing. Like, I don't know how they could have trimmed down the first part of the game, because it like you do actually move pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
Like you basically meet the Lord, go through one dungeon, they do something, and then you go kill them. Like that's basically the general structure.
Right.
But like maybe if like the first half was a little bit shorter and they could have maybe drawn out the second half where you're getting all the answers so that it doesn't happen all at once.
Right.
Right? Like maybe that would have been better. I mean, that depends on what the answers are, right? If it's one big answer to one big question, then that doesn't work. Like that's going to be jarring no matter when it happens.
Right.
But because like I've played for about I think 10 hours since I finished the Fifth Realm, but like most of that time was not spent doing main story stuff. Like if I had just beeline the main story, I think it's maybe 3 or 4 hours since finishing the Fifth Realm.
There's a good amount of like side quests to do once you finish the Fifth Realm, basically.
Okay.
So
fishing too, arena fights, lots of side bosses like that. So
it's extra content you're optionally welcome.
Yeah, and I'm going for the platinum, so like I'm gonna do all that stuff eventually anyway. So
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
Go ahead, Otto.
I was going to divert to a different topic, so if you have more to say, please do it.
No, not really. I mean, I guess I'll just go back to what I said previously, and I just think it wouldn't exactly fix the issues with the pacing of the story. And yeah, I agree with kind of what Go said. I'm not sure what they could cut. Like, most of the stuff that happens in the Five Realms is like relevant. I'm trying to think of things they could have cut out. Like, I guess they could cut out some of the field areas, but then that like cuts down the exploration. I don't really like that very much. Like, I guess that super dungeon that you just did with the ooze boss was not necessarily necessary, but okay.
It's not like
how
it's a whatever.
long did that even take though? Right?
It was
like,
short. It was like 30 minutes. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's a few dungeons here and there that maybe you could have cut out maybe 30 minutes, an hour here and there, but like there's not a lot that I can think of that they really could cut out. So I don't really know how they trim it down. I just think they need I think the big this wouldn't fix the pacing, but I think they just needed some more foreshadowing. Again, I can't really talk about what the answers are because we're not going to spoil this story here, and neither of you have the answers, so I'm not going to talk about that. But they needed some lines or maybe some things that you could see along the way, or even some like dungeons or things that you see in the dungeons that could foreshadow some of the answers that you get later that would like click when you get the answers that like are that just make it a little more interesting and just like oh, what's that? That's interesting. Again, there are things that are there that when you get the answers make sense, but it's like the answers all make sense. Like there was nothing that when I got the answers was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. That's stupid. Like that doesn't make sense. No, the answers explain the entire state of the world and everything that is going on. It makes absolute complete sense in my opinion when I got the answers. It just takes so long to get them, and it's not a trail of breadcrumbs. It's just like there it is.
But that also brings the question: is it worth it then? At that point, I mean, like you get the answers, but you're like, well, come on, I never would have known, and it's not as rewarding if you don't.
As you get through it, like as you get through the Lord's Quest and you get through like parts of Act 2 and you start doing things of Act 2, you start getting like breadcrumbs here and there. You're like, this is a little off. This is a little weird. I'm not quite like, this doesn't really make sense. Why is this thing this way? So I think they actually do a good job in Act 2, or like I guess the end of Act 1. Act 1 being I'm gonna call Act 1 the Lord's Quest, and Act 2 is everything after that.
Right.
I think they do a decent job of breadcrumbing at like the end of Act 1, and then like the story sections of Act 2, the non-side quest stuff, and as you move on in Act 2, I think they do a pretty good job of breadcrumbing it here and there.
Yeah.
And there are actually even a few things early on in the game that are foreshadowing, but it's hard to see it until you kind of know the answers or are really close to knowing the answers.
There's actually one thing in particular that I thought like it was foreshadowing of what happens at the end of the Five Realms, but it's just so subtle that like most people are not going to notice.
So there is some foreshadowing, and when you get the answers, it's appreciated. But I think there could have been more. that was a little more overt, a little more obvious, like some ancient ruins type stuff that there's these weird things here and there that's like, what's that? That doesn't really make sense. I don't know. Okay, let's move on.
Right.
And then when you get the answers, it's like, oh, that's what that was. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
they,
I think yeah.
They could have easily had that too. Like the world didn't so the structure of the world is basically a circle. Like there could have been a couple of offshoot paths that you go down and find some cool stuff, right? Like yeah. So
okay. Let's divert out of story now for a bit. Okay, can I complain now? Am I ready to complain?
Okay.
I'm ready to complain.
Here we go.
Okay. I have complaints. Yep. I have complaints about combat. I have complaints.
Yeah.
Your AI is too stupid. Okay. Let me put it like this. If I have a phone in front of me and I know it's going to hit me in the face, I will move my head. The AI in Tails does not recognize when things are going to hit them, even when they're telegraphed. So whenever an opponent uses an attack that is completely telegraphed, they're just like, ouch, 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 it hit me again, ouch. Number 2, why can't they jump?
Yeah, one I don't know.
They have stuff that triggers on jumping too. So it's only built for you when you take control of the character. But if I set that stuff and then I walk away to take control of Alphen, they're never going to use it. So it's like a waste of a point. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to use the other characters unless I'm required to. So why would I ever take those skill points?
The other characters are actually really fun.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
They are. I think they've actually. I've tried all the characters, and some of them I didn't like at first because their art set was kind of garbage at first. But as they get more arts, I think all the characters are designed really nicely and are fun to play. But yes, you should not be required, and nor are you required to switch. Alphen is still my favorite to play. Alphen is my favorite character to play still, even after playing all the other ones. I think others are fun for doing other things, and I like playing some of the other ones sometimes. But Alphen combos the best in my opinion, and his combos are super fun to do. So he's still my favorite.
Look, I'm okay. Obviously, but my point is, don't put something in the skill tree thing if the computer doesn't know how to do it. Just I don't want it in there or something. Why is it in there if it never triggers unless I take control?
Yeah,
it feels a little wasted when I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, at least I know over here that this will trigger. This is relying on me constantly switching between party members, and I don't want to do that in this game. This isn't a game where I wanted to do that. There are other games where I want to do that. I want to swap between party members constantly because I'm just going to be honest. It might require me to. This game doesn't feel like it's requiring me to more heavily than something else. That's a bit more tactical. I want to say not to say this isn't tactical, but
I can see some crazy combo videos involving using a boost attack and then swapping to that character and then comboing with them. But again, for general casual gameplay playing through the game, you don't need to do that at all whatsoever. It's that would be an advanced tech type thing to do for high end combos and stuff like that. But you don't need to do that.
It's just feels bad when I'm like, this computer should know how to dodge. This computer should know that there's a telegraphed attack. It should recognize it's under its feet. It should be able to kind of look down and step a little bit over to the left. It should know that.
Don't stand in the fire.
Because I've had Shion stand in the fire, and I'm like, well, shit, there goes a life bottle. Because my AI doesn't know what the hell they're doing when a projected attack comes at them. Normally, the strategy menu, while I am disappointed in how it could have been better, still works pretty well for my party. They'll generally okay, they're hurt, go run away. But the combat's really it's good. But man, it's so frustrating when you get a party member that just it's almost like when you get a Mass Effect character that doesn't want to take cover. They just refuse to take cover. And they're just getting shot in the face.
Well,
it's come on.
Your complaints with that are going to be magnified when you fight Ganabelt because they die constantly in that fight.
And that frustrates me because I'm like, if it's not telegraphed, I'm understanding of that. If it's like, oh, speed attack just hits them in the face, they
all,
don't know what's
all of the
coming.
attacks are telegraphed. Just some of the telegraphs are more subtle than others.
Exactly.
You're talking about the ones where it's like, big meteor is headed for my face and takes 3 seconds to land. Yes,
there's a
you should
circle
dodge
around
that.
me. I should
Yeah.
run away from it. Like that kind of thing. Like the AI should recognize, and I don't know how sophisticated it would have to be in the structure of how they're programmed, but it should recognize that in about 1 second they're going to get hit, and they should at least attempt to run away. Like even if it doesn't, they can like at least attempt it, please, because I'm tired of like seeing that and be like, okay, that you could have dodged that. Come on.
The biggest issues with the AI, I think, have to do with charge attacks, where the enemy closes quickly,
right?
And the wave, like anything that emanates outward, and you have to jump,
radial, any like AoE that goes around the enemy, like the especially the melee characters will literally just stand in that and keep hitting the boss and just die, and it's like, okay, cool.
It makes me upset.
The ones that have multiple ticks, like they should know that, like once they start taking damage, they should probably start hitting the dodge button.
Like after 1 or 2 ticks, like no, after like 2 to 3 ticks, they're like, okay, like back off. And like I had to set it where it's like if you're at 50% health, or less, run away.
Yeah,
because it's like otherwise they're too stupid.
There's a Mystic card at one point in the game where there's just like these slow ass rocks falling from the sky, and it's super easy to dodge, and the AI just stands there and fucking takes it. And you're like, all right,
it's so frustrating because like you need them. You need them.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, you to not.
The problem with that one in particular is that the last meteor that lands takes up like most of the arena, like in the center.
Yeah.
And like, so if the AI knew to just go to the edge, they wouldn't get hit by it. But they don't know that. They just kind of stand there. So there is actually a trick. If you set the AI to do nothing, they will do nothing but dodge. So like if you see one of those like big AoE attacks coming, like a Mystic Art or like a radiating AoE, you just swap the tactics to do nothing. They'll dodge it, and then you just change it back after that attack's over.
That's probably what I'm gonna have to do. I think.
Here's the frustrating thing for me. Why is it do nothing that is that option, and why isn't there a evasive maneuvers tactic? Why is do nothing equal evasive maneuvers? Because that means do nothing to me means stand there and do nothing. Stand there and do nothing. Get hit if things hit you. Just do nothing. That doesn't mean dodge, move around. It means do nothing.
Yeah, no, well, the AI interprets it as don't take damage, basically. Like, don't deal damage, don't take damage. Like, they just dodge.
Is that
That's
what it says? So, like when
that's not what that's not what it says. I read that online and I tried it, and yeah, it works most of the time. Like they stop attacking because part of the reason they don't dodge is because they like to mash. Like the AI likes to mash attacks. Yeah, and so
we know attacks are committal in this game. So if you're in the middle of an art, you're just gonna get blasted.
And they are also very insistent about not canceling their art cast. So if they're in the middle of channeling a spell, they will take a meteor to the face to try to finish that cast, even if there's no way they're gonna do it. Like when I play casters, if my cast is halfway done and I see something coming for me, I'm dodging out of that because I don't want to get hit.
Right.
The spell's not going off anyway.
So that's
right.
This is my complaint.
Yeah.
My complaint is I think I understand why they can't just have the AI be like really smart all the time, because then they just be like, okay, we'll be too easy. But at the same time, in very specific situations.
If they made the AI smart, they would have to decrease your inventory limit. Like you should not be able to carry 15 life bottles if the AI is never going to die.
Correct. So I recognize that, but my one complaint is if a fireball is slowly hurtling to you, and your thought is to go, I better just keep shooting.
Finish the fireball's coming for me. Better finish this spell cast.
Just cast a spell. Better keep. Yeah. Bam! Just slams into them, and they're just like.
What? That interrupted me?
Oh, I better try it again. It's like, no, stop, run. What are you doing? So my complaint is the computer, I think, is too unintelligent. There's a middle ground, and it's missed. And I think you guys like swap around the strategies all the time. That's not really like the optimal solution, though. Even though like it's like kind of a smart hack when you're the player. It's like, okay, well, if I hack this and do that, but that's like me
Yeah,
thinking
but the
about it too is like, well, that's not what I think the optimal solution should be. You shouldn't just have to
strategy
swap strategies. All the time.
doesn't do what you tell it. Like, again, I didn't read that online, and I didn't know that. Now that I know that, I'm going to use that. I mean, I'm at the end of the game, so it doesn't matter. It'll help me in like the end game and the post game content, I guess. But like,
But you know
again,
it now, yeah.
do nothing. Like, the do nothing strategy should be called evasive maneuvers, not
Right.
do nothing. It should be called something different, or
Yeah.
if there is, or there should be two different things. There should be evasive maneuvers and do nothing, which are two entirely different things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe this would be hard to code, but like, I wish there was a tactic that was like prioritize defense or something like that. So it's like, if you're gonna get hit, dodge it.
Get out of
Right.
Yeah, don't
It's like
attack,
just
get out
it's
of
like
the
just
way.
But,
evade
like, if there's
evade
nothing-
everything. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not going to evade everything, right? Like, there are some attacks that come out pretty quickly. Like, they're not
Right.
going to be able to dodge all that.
Yeah,
But, like,
of
all
course.
the stuff that one-shots you is pretty well telegraphed. So, like, you know, dodge that stuff. And, like, if it's safe, then you can do DPS.
Right.
But, like,
if an enemy
you know,
isn't within so many pixels.
yeah. And, like, to me, that would mean that, like, I wouldn't have this frustration. Like, my main frustration with the AI is actually with the casters, in that, like, if they're trying to cast arts, they're gonna fucking cast those arts. Like, sorry for the cursing, but like, they're going to cast those arts.
Yeah.
Like, if they get interrupted, the enemy can be standing right next to them. They'll start casting it again.
There's like
the
guy with the sword's just like,
and I'm just like, Rinwell, like, move,
Run away,
go
run
away.
to the other side of the arena, and then cast.
Yeah,
like
let the boss try to hit me. Go to the other side of the arena, right?
the guy with the sword's just right there, like, haha, I got you. And Rinwell's like, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna keep hitting you. Like, what are we doing? Meanwhile, Alpha's just screaming, move, move.
Like, I
You
can't
stupid
tank for you
mage.
if you're gonna just run it down. Like,
You stupid mage, please move. So yeah, I have a problem with the AI. I have another problem. I have one more. I have one other problem. It's not a major problem. I'm trying to suspend my disbelief, but there are too many silly JRPG moments. Okay, here's one. Zephyr, who's like the philosophizer of the game, apparently, he's in prison. Okay, he gets broken out of this prison that he's in. I'm not going to go into detail because I want it to be kind of vague. He has two guards guarding him, and they are easily defeated. And then like the person who defeats the two guards has time to release him without anybody coming in to stop him. So he punches two armored guards, which is fine, whatever. But then like nobody else interrupts this, and he's just like he's untying the handcuffs here. And then after all that, some people finally surround them. It's too silly. It's too silly for me to be like, in this situation, there will be at least a dozen guards around here. How is it that this person spends 5 minutes knocking these two out, releasing the person from their imprisonment, and nobody stops this? It's like it's too much suspension of disbelief for me. You're expecting me to believe that nobody's going to even try to jump in to stop it. It's like it's too silly for me. I don't think it's horrible at
honestly,
all. I just think it's
like,
so silly.
I'm just gonna be honest. I don't care about stuff like that. Like,
Oh,
I mean, you see
know.
movies that like nobody can shoot, right? Like, it's
Right.
the same thing to me. Like, the fact that like James Bond can survive 15 people firing machine guns at him from like 20 feet away. It's the same thing. Like, nobody can hit anything in movies. The same thing here, right? It's like the guards are incompetent.
I'm actually going to counter this one and say that was part of the trap that was set. Was that like he wanted him to be broken out and like ambush him like he did like at the second half of that scene, basically.
Okay.
I'm going to say that was part of the trap, like to justify that. I may be wrong, and okay,
No,
whatever,
it's reasonable
but,
to
like,
assume that. It is reasonable to assume that. If that's the case, then I rescind it. But it was at the time I
Honestly,
was like, this is silly.
My biggest problem with that scene is like, why did Law not use the smoke bomb earlier?
Thank you.
That was actually, I had a bigger problem with that than the guards being incompetent. Like the actual characters are not supposed to be incompetent.
Yeah, they're not supposed to. Yeah. There was one other one, I can't remember, where I was like, this is too silly. There's like a couple of those where I'm like, this is too silly. Like, I don't like this. This is too silly. Oh, when they're in the town where there supposedly are eyes everywhere, and they're like, we better not draw too much attention. And I'm like, are you serious? Have you seen
what we look? Like?
Have you seen Alphen? Have you seen Yushion? What do you mean don't draw too much
No,
attention?
but like Shion actually like counters that in a skit later. She's just like, well, I mean, people know who we are anyway,
Yeah,
so we might as well just act
No,
confidently.
she does. She's like, let's just ask confidently. But then later too, they're like talking about that again. They're like, we better not draw too much attention. It's like, you draw attention. Look at you. Look. He's wearing half a mask. Like you do. Like,
and he's got a lava sword on his back.
Yeah, and there's like times too where they're like, people are starting to talk behind your back. They're like concerned about you. And it's great. I'm like, oh, yes, finally. Like, I'm drawing attention to myself. Like, this makes sense. Like, the town, I should be.
I mean,
and then they kind of like brush it off again. I'm like, no. Like,
I think, honestly, like, just in general in JRPGs, and I mean, this is true in other RPGs too, but like, the fact that the party has to look different from your average NPC kind of makes it so that when you have this like secret police setup, it just doesn't really work if you're gonna care about that type of stuff, right? Because like, you know, the generic villagers have like 5 different models for everyone in the game, and like the party has to look different from that.
Of course,
right? Because they're supposed to look cool. I mean, especially with the outfits you put on them, but like,
absolutely.
You know, even in the default outfits, like they look way different from everyone else.
They're gonna stand out.
You just kind of have to like say, well, I mean, just for rule of cool purposes, like for my party to look cool, like I have to just not care about that.
Sure, and
like,
I actually appreciated when they actually had like subtitles of people talking behind our back. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, of course we would stand out, but they never followed through with it enough for me. I was like, okay, like I kind of wanted more of like, you know, eventually like something does happen, and I'm not going to say any further, but yeah, I was like waiting for something to really happen where we get like you get reported and something would happen with that, and they do finally get something. Happen, which is great.
I mean, the fact that you weren't arrested right away was also part of the trap.
Yeah.
Because the guards are incompetent, it didn't actually work the way Ganabelt was hoping it would.
Right.
But you know,
and the other thing I want to say about Ganabelt is like, okay, I know the
he
game.
Sucks. I mean,
I know the game like wanted it to be like, oh yeah, he's a resist fire. It's going to be like a twist, but it's not a twist. It's not a twist when the person looks evil. Like, and it's just like there are points where you're like, okay, no, it's not that obvious. Come on, it was a twist. This guy looks evil. Like the first moment I walked into the door and saw this guy, I said, oh, you're evil. You're actually a bad guy. Oh, you're a bad guy. It's like it shouldn't be that instantaneous, but I like it's just like, oh, you're evil. Got it. Maybe he should have worn like a mask. But then if you wore a mask, I think it was like kind of funny. I was like, oh, it's a twist. I'm actually Ganabelt. I'm like, oh, we knew that though. Let's continue.
See, I was halfway on that twist. I wasn't surprised that he was evil. I was surprised that he was the Lord. That half of it, I was like, I wasn't expecting it to actually be the Lord who was there leading the leading.
He's just been a spy.
True.
Basically, I was expecting him to be like a soldier or like maybe like his advisor or someone, but I wasn't expecting to be the Lord himself was actually freaking there. So that half of the twist I liked. But I agree with you. Like, yeah, you walk and you're like, yeah, that's a bad
you're evil.
Right there.
Yeah, you're a bad guy. Got it.
Okay. So, like, more so than that, though, like, this is just a fundamental problem with these types of, like, switcheroo twists, is that, like, okay, say it did surprise you, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, say you were completely caught off guard. It doesn't matter.
Right. That's another issue, too, I think I wanted to address, which you've brought up here, is it's a meaningless twist. And I'm like, why did you even do this as a twist? Like, for story purposes, like they better go into why he was trying to pose as the resistance leader. Otherwise, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, who cares? Like, why'd you even do this? Like, I don't care. Like, it just seems like you're trying to build something up that I feel like should have been more properly paced out.
Mean,
and it's just not. I'm like, okay, well, sure.
The idea behind that, I think, is kind of just implicitly makes sense, right? Like if you're the Lord and you're also the leader of the resistance, you're in control.
You're in complete control,
right?
Yeah.
Like you control, but like it's a twist that doesn't really affect the story in any meaningful way.
True.
It's just like, okay, I guess, like whatever. Yeah. Like, I mean, it wasn't surprising because you're right, he did look evil, but like, even if it was surprising, that would not be a good twist.
Right. and that's the other thing is like, okay, well, like I understand like you've got this little twist and it makes sense for the character, but like for me as a player, I just look at it and go, okay, well, I knew he was evil, and I don't understand. Okay, nice, fine. And also, like he's trying to set up this trap, but your party stands out. If he knew that he was trying to lure out the accomplices, I feel like the only people in town with weapons in hand would be that aren't the guards would probably be your first guess. It's like, oh, these people with weapons, they could be them. It's a weird thing. Like I like the town and I like the aesthetic of it, and it's really cool.
I mean,
but there's like some weird stuff where I'm like, it doesn't work as well in a JRPG as it would like in another game. Like I think it works a little bit better in another game.
So
but it's a cool idea.
I mean, this kind of contradicts something I said earlier because, like, I was, anticipating or saying they should have maybe tried to trim down the Five Lords, like, part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the one thing that honestly I think bothered me the most about, like, I generally liked the Five Lords section, but, like, because it had good moments. But, like, one thing that did bother me is that, like, there was never actually a plan to take down the Lord. It was just like, let's just charge the castle.
They just fucking wing
like,
it.
5 people kill all the guards.
Their castle.
They just bum rush the castle. And that's a little weird.
Their best plan was actually in Calaglia when it was like, okay, we'll do a distraction at the front and then go around. The other 4 is like, yeah, we're just gonna bum rush the front door. We're just gonna walk in the castle.
A little different. It makes a little bit more sense in the third one, but the rest of them are just like, yeah, we're going in. Like us against them.
It made the least sense in Cislodia in the Ganabelt art. It's like this guy has like all these secret police. It's like, how are we gonna take him down? We run in the front door. Let's go. Yeah. It's like, wait, what?
He literally says in the cutscene, like, Ganabelt does, like, let's be ready for them when they come back. You walk into the trap, and his idea of being ready for them is 2 groups of mobs in the town square. Like,
that's his preparation. He's just
like, Chef Master Ganabelt right here, really up in his ivory tower with the great tactics. Like, 2 groups of mobs in the town square. That good stuff.
We're gonna use my knowledge. We're gonna use the secret police against them. How? We're gonna put 2 mobs of guards in the middle of the town square.
I do think that part of it though that like does make sense in terms of them being like unprepared is that like these Renans, they think they're so superior to Danans. Like, it's hubris. It is the like, oh, they're not, it doesn't matter. Even if they get to me, like, I'll just fuck them up. I'm way more powerful than them. It doesn't matter. It's the straight, like, the final boss, like, encountering you early in the game. Be like, you're not worth my time. Get out. Like, and then you end up taking them down.
But, like, by the time you get to the 4th Lord, like, she should have at least thought, like, these guys have deposed 3 lords already. Like, my guards are incompetent because clearly theirs were, and they came from the same place. Like, maybe,
Even though they're 20 levels higher, but yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be like, I can just beat them by myself if my guards are incompetent. Like, maybe I should actually, like, plan for things.
Right. You take it seriously. I think after the first part, Calaglia, you can say, okay, maybe they're not. The rest are like, okay, lucky.
Well, I mean,
lucky.
Balsef was pretty Papega, so like maybe Ganabelt can get away with just saying, well, Ganabelt was just as incompetent as the guards,
right?
Or but like by the time you get to like the 3rd and 4th lords, like they should be taking things seriously.
Like they should take it seriously. Like your name is even at the point of Cislodia, they know who you are. Your name word has reached them, so they know who you are. So at that point, the 3rd Lord should know and go, oh, they've deposed 2 other ones. I should take this seriously. But I'm sure instead they're like, ha 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 ha, I am evil. Fear me as I oppress my people and your people. And it's like, okay, great, let's storm your castle. Wait, I didn't expect that.
The characterization of the villains is like probably the weakest part of the story. Like they are, I mean, there's one exception, but like the first 2 lords, like
comically
you basically like with Balsef, you literally meet him. Like he's in one cutscene that's a brooding scene, and then you meet him, and then you fight him, and the arc is over.
Yes. He's comically evil. That's what it is. He's a comically evil character, and he's a tutorial comically evil character.
Yeah.
But the other guy, Ganonbelt, he's the same way. He's just I'm comically evil, but I'm also somewhat more intelligent than Balsef.
Yeah,
It's like, okay,
so, like,
but you're comically evil still. Like that.
Balsef is the guy who like flexes and points at his muscles.
Yeah.
Like Ganabelt is the mustache twirler.
He's just like twirling his mustache and pointing to his head, and he's just like, okay, guy.
Yeah,
he's funny. He is funny. It's just like it's just funny watching him. He's like, are you falling into my trap? It's like, okay, great.
Yeah, as we've already said earlier, plot pacing and villains are definitely the weakest part on the story side of this game. The two weakest parts.
But like, I mean, maybe this is a hot take, but like, I feel like this is one of the few like long games where like there could be literally no story and I would still play. Like, I actually think the game is that fun.
It is fun.
So
it's fun. For my complaints against the AI, freaking stupid sometimes.
The AI is
only an issue with boss fights though. Like during normal fights, like it
doesn't matter. You just pummel normal fights down.
The normal enemy, the normal enemies don't do enough damage quickly enough to kill your AI party. Usually the healing is there before they die.
Yeah,
but they hit pretty hard on hard, but like you can juggle them into oblivion.
They don't one shot you though. So usually, if they take damage, they're gonna get healed before they
It's only boss is the only issue. But yeah, I agree with you. This game is like, even with the other stuff you guys have talked about, it is fun. It is fun playing it. The combat's really smooth, and I like doing the comboing things together and figuring out what arts are going to work best for what I want to do.
Yep.
And it's a really good looking game. It's a game that looks like it came out this year, which is nice to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like you can't say that actually about every.
JRPGs usually are a little bit behind.
That's not taken for granted with JRPGs for sure, unless you're Square Enix. Square Enix does high production value.
Yeah, but it's different. Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like most JRPG or companies that make JRPGs are not AAA studios.
Right.
So but still, like more of them, just like please just use Unreal. Like stop making your own shitty in-house engines. They suck. Like just use Unreal.
We've made our own engine in house. Oh, not again.
It's ass.
Oh no, not again. This one looks great. It looks great. It runs well. Yeah. I haven't had any FPS issues that I've seen, at least for me. And like
you're on Series S, right?
I'm on Series S. It looks really pretty. It's like the character models look great. Textures look great. I mean, like it's really. I actually like the flashy colors in combat. It's just like super fun to see. Yeah. The combos are great when you get the other characters doing their flashy moves and absolutely destroying my bitrate. That's always fun.
Yeah, by the way,
it gets freaking blown up
when you get to the end of the game and Rinwell has like the tier 4 spells, it is going to be constant rip bitrate. Like Divine Saber, like it's really good, but like just imagine like a million lightning strikes for like a full 5 seconds. Like that's going to destroy the bitrate.
That's funny. I just love that though. It's just like what can make it explode? And these like combo arts, like
the
screen just pixelates like shit.
The boost strikes,
Holy shit!
There's a lot of effects.
I guess on the technical side or like the presentation side, I will say that like I'm a little bit let down by the music. Like I don't really remember any of it except like the Gigant theme, which is actually just the remaster of a Tales song from an older game. Like it's fine, it fits, but like
no bangers.
I mean,
no bangers.
It's not Xenoblade like when it comes to the soundtrack, which you shouldn't expect it to be.
Your bar's too high on that one, I think.
Yeah. I guess the point is like there's not a lot of memorable tracks, right? Like it's all decent, but like
I think it's better. I think it's better than decent. I definitely think it's Sakuraba's like one of his best showings in a while for Tales soundtracks with the fully orchestrated. I like the battle theme. The remix of A Formidable Foe Stands in the Way, which is the Gigant theme is good. And I think like the field themes sound good. Like they're very fitting.
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. It's not that memorable for the most part. It's not Xenoblade. It's not Persona. It's not even like the Trails soundtrack. It's not that good, but It's good. I'd say it's better than decent. It's pretty good. I like the music.
I mean, it's not Final Fantasy either. Like, I mean, those games have really good music
it's not
too. But like,
FF7 remake either.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is like it'd be interesting to see like with like the theme of each realm, like if the Xenoblade composer had done this, like what would it sound like, right? Like what would be the difference between Sakuraba and Minami Kyoto as the composer for Xenoblade? But yeah, like because it seems like they went with more of like a background music feel rather than like something that's going to get the blood pumping on its own, right? Where like the stuff in Arise is not something that I would listen to outside of the game. Whereas like Xenoblade, I actually did buy the Xenoblade 2 soundtrack and like I do listen to it outside of the game. But graphics are great, but I mean, I have a pretty good PC. But I mean, I've heard from people who, or at least, I mean, Spoon's PC is really good too. And he says it runs fine, but like I've heard that it runs well, like even on pretty not so great PCs. I will say that
mine isn't really good. Mine's like 4 years old, like specs.
But still,
I mean, yeah, I guess it wasn't top of the line when you bought it. But
it's a 1060 card.
Okay,
that's like.
I mean, yeah, I have a 3060, but like, yeah, a 1060 is a pretty old card. But like the recommended settings ask for a 970, which means that my old computer could have run it.
Oh wow!
And I kind of doubt it, to be honest, or at least run it well.
Right, you'd have to go with like the lowest graphical settings possible.
Well, no, the recommended setting is 970.
Oh, that's
which
recommended.
Is what my old computer had.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say though that like I did play the demo on PS4, and the PS4 version is a little bit scuffed. Like the pop-in is really bad on PS4.
Oh,
like you think it's bad in like on the Series S or like on the PC version, like it's way worse on PS4.
I haven't had too much pop-in issue. Maybe I haven't noticed it, but I haven't had an issue yet where I feel like, I didn't think
it's a lot more noticeable in the third realm when there's more foliage.
Okay, maybe I'll pay attention then. But like nothing compares to Assassin's Creed Unity for me, where things literally popped in when I was 2 feet away from them. That was exciting. That was my most exciting moment. But I haven't noticed it yet. But when I get to the third area, I will pay attention.
There's a little bit of pop in here and there, but it's not that bad. I assume on PS4 it's pretty bad, but
yeah,
on
I mean,
PC it's not bad.
I prefer a little bit of pop in to like potato textures, right?
Sure.
So I mean,
depending on the egregiousness of it, but like again, like it, I don't know. I haven't had problems for me. So far, which is again good. Prefer not to have a Assassin's Creed Unity where I run into something that popped in right in front of me. That will happen.
Yeah.
That was hysterical.
Well, I mean,
happened.
So it's kind of a weird form of pop-in though, because it seems like there's a variable draw distance depending on how important the object is.
Okay.
Right. So like you're never going to have anything relevant to gameplay popping up like near you, but like it's a little bit immersion breaking when like all the foliage is just popping up right around your feet.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I haven't noticed that, but maybe I'm just like not paying attention. But I'll have to take a look. So.
Otto, do you still hate the? I thought you were going to complain about the dodge roll. Or are you still going to complain about that?
I do. I don't think it makes sense, but it when you get used to it, it works fine. But I don't think it makes sense. Yeah. It shouldn't. Your dodge roll shouldn't be dodge into attacks. That makes no sense. It should be a little bit different, but I'm not going to complain about it anymore because you get used to it.
The way it works.
It's the way it works. It's like I'm not going to complain about it. It's the way it works.
I'm pretty sure that you actually did have to have that hitbox contact in Scarlet Nexus as well to get the perfect dodges, but
perfect dodge wasn't important as important.
It's not. I guess.
I guess for like also the dodge in Scarlet Nexus was scuffed anyways. Like that dodge.
Well, I
was
mean,
like,
I didn't even do that.
Yeah,
so.
it didn't give you enough distance, and like attacks were committal in that game too. So
iframes were really limited on that dodge as well.
You get a lot of iframes for the dodge on tails. So yeah.
By the way, Dodge.
Dodge coming in with a pretty hot rate. I mean, Dodge got rated for like 1,000 viewers earlier today. So.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Everybody. Hey Dodge.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to complain about. Game's fun. I feel like this is a really fun game. Obviously, I haven't played a ton of it, but like I haven't been bored yet, so that's exciting.
Yep, that's good.
Usually, if a game bores me, I start to bring it down in ratings. For example, Valhalla bores me, so it's not as exciting. But this game hasn't bored me. Like
Yeah.
even the areas are like kind of interesting to like
I mean,
understand them. It's interesting.
yeah. I know this like isn't a review, but like if I'm going by the auto review scale of how much did I enjoy the game without like thinking about all the other stuff, like this is pretty close to a 10 for me. Like if I'm just thinking about like how much fun am I having while I'm playing,
Sure.
this is pretty close to a 10 for me. If you start factoring in the other stuff, like it goes down like maybe to an 8.5 or a 9, but like you know, if I'm just thinking about how fun is this to play, it's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think that's fair right now, given you don't have all the answers yet. I think it's fair to just say it that way. Well, Spoon has the answers. Spoon, you want to give an actual score, or do you want to do the auto score?
I mean, I haven't finished the game yet, so but I do have the answers, and I guess I could probably guess what the ending is going to be like. I don't think the ending is going to be a surprise.
Yep.
So I'm not expecting any more twists at this point where I am. Yeah, again, on the auto scale, it's at least a 9, if not, on the how much am I enjoying this game? Yeah, it's at least a 9.5, if not like close to a 10, like what Go's saying. Like
Right.
there's never been a point where like I wanted to stop playing or I wanted to put it down. I just like had to because I had to go to bed or had to do something else, or I just, needed to take a break because I've been playing for a while or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, game is so much fun to play. The characters are, despite again the pacing of the main plot itself being pretty poor, the events are interesting and the characters' interactions are interesting. And yeah, this is like, especially earlier on in the game, it's a much more character driven story than a plot driven story, because again,
Right.
as we talked about, the first like 2/3 of the game, probably if not even more, maybe 3/4 of the game is a freaking it's a MacGuffin quest.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
go slay the five lords.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I'm, being more critical about it, and again, we may do a formal review of this at some point down the line, but Otto is really busy right now, and it's going to take him quite a while to finish the game. So
it'll take me more than a month.
Yeah, and
I got other projects.
10 hours in is not far enough to actually
No,
accurately
I'm
assess
not.
how good the game is.
No,
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to. I was just going to say it's just fun. It's just fun. What I've gotten to play has been fun, and I haven't been bored. So good. That's a huge positive for me, actually.
From a more critical like perspective, the gameplay is at least the gameplay's probably a 10, to be honest. Like the game is just so fun. Like the exploration is super good. I mean, I can nitpick on some things, like, excuse me, the side quests are kind of basic, but the AI in combat is kind of papega. They don't dodge stuff and they just die. But I can nitpick on some other things, but yeah, the game is super fun to play. I wish the dungeon design, like I wish there were, again, please bring puzzles back. Like the dungeon design in this game is way better than it has been in previous games, just because I think it's mostly just because the environments are more interesting to look at. Like the graphics are better, the presentation is just much better.
Sure.
But the dungeon design itself is mostly just like hallways with enemies and like a few offshoot paths here and there,
Right.
and that's kind of it. And you like spend CP sometimes to like get to treasure chests and whatever, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the dungeon design could still use some work. I think I would really like to see puzzles come back. Let's see. So yeah, those would probably be my main nitpicks on the gameplay. So, it's at least a 9, if not like a 9.5, or I think the nitpicks may be enough to bring it down out of the 10 range. But yeah, like fun factor 10 out of 10 for sure. Sound, I like the music. It's pretty good. Sound effects are good. The voice acting is actually really good. I think
It
the sounds
is.
like overall is at least an 8. Like again, like the soundtrack itself is nothing special, but it's
Right.
good. But the sound effects are really good. The voice acting is excellent, actually,
Yep.
in English. So yeah, the sound design is at least an 8. Presentation, like graphics, I guess sound and graphics are both under presentation. So graphics, like visual presentation, honestly, probably with the exception of like pop-in being the one minor issue, and the I have had like slight slowdown here and there, not persistent and all, but I've had it chug occasionally for a split second and then come back on my PC, but nothing that was immersion breaking or bad enough for me to really complain about. So yeah, graphically, visual presentation, probably 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
Story, yeah, pacing's rough. Villains are rough. I like the answers. I like the answers you eventually get. I like the characters a lot. Ooh, it's tough. Like there were points where I'm like, it's a 7. It's probably like an 8 on the story front. Yet I haven't quite seen the ending yet, but I'm kind of expecting the ending to be kind of what we expect.
Right.
So yeah, overall, I mean, if I'm being really critical, maybe it'd be an 8.5, but I just love the game so much. I think it has to be a 9. Like it has enough things that I think are issues that I can't give it a 10, but 9, easily a 9, if not a 9.5 even. Like my complaints are minor for the most part, but they said like I guess the story complaints are like the
They're
the
valid.
story
Those are
the,
valid. 100%.
the story complaints are valid, but so yeah, at least a 9 if I was being hypercritical. 8.5 if I was being really generous. 9.5. So I'll throw down a 9 right in the middle there.
Yeah.
I really like this game. I think it's, if you're a JRPG fan, pick it up, play it. It's great.
Unless you're
yeah.
like a turn-based purist.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you
because
don't
it's not
like,
it's
if you
not
don't
turn-based.
if you don't like action RPGs, then yeah, this isn't going to change your mind. But Tales of Arise is really really fun. Definitely worth playing.
Yeah. Cool. All right then. Well, let's start winding things down then, guys, because we're actually about to hit a 3-hour mark on this one. This is a long one because of Nintendo
I mean, yeah,
Direct.
the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, that was a long
Yeah,
one.
a 40,
Hitting the
40-minute
copium den
direct.
after this.
Copium den for Xenoblade. Oh my god. All
Yeah.
right. Well, for those of you that came in with the raid and you're still hanging out, thanks for raid and dodge. We really appreciate that. And we will be back, and I'll be back at least personally streaming some more Tales of Arise if you're interested in that this weekend at some point. And we'll be back for another podcast episode next Thursday. Ghost, thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm always happy to talk JRPGs. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Nice bonus with the Nintendo Direct, even if I didn't really enjoy what they presented. But
yeah. And you can tell us all about the copium dem afterwards and what's going on.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure Spoon's going to be joining me.
Okay, you both are going to be there. Okay,
not in person, but he will also be in the copium den.
I see. It's I get it. It's understandable. I get it. I've been waiting to see a King of Dragons sequel for almost more than 20 years. So I'm with you.
I mean, if you're waiting for King of Dragons, you might overdose on copium.
I may have to learn how to actually make it myself. That's my goal. It's like, okay, can I make it myself? I'm gonna be like an old man and finally have made it. But yeah, if you're interested in more of our episodes or other content, we have YouTube, and we also do these live streams on Thursdays around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. And there's the YouTube from Spoon. Thank you very much. And we have a Discord. So if you're interested, you want to hang out in the Discord, feel free. We drop a lot of game news in there for what we talk about during the week. So I think that's going to do it. Spoon, would you like to add anything on to that before we hit the end button?
No, appreciate everybody hanging out today. Again, Dodge, we appreciate the raid. Anybody who stopped in, we appreciate you sticking around for the end of the episode, even though I'm sure you kind of caught us right in the middle or near the end, actually, of our Tales of Arise conversation for the day. But feel free to check us out. We'd appreciate if you follow and join the Discord and all that jazz. So yeah, we just do this weekly gaming podcast. Right now we're on Thursdays, starting around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, appreciate anyone stopping by and wanting to hang out and listen to us talk and nerd out. And usually it's just myself and Otto. Ghost was a
Right.
special was a guest this week for the
Tales.
Tales discussion
Yeah.
specifically.
So okay, cool. Well, like I said, Ghost, thanks for coming by.
Yep.
We appreciate it. It was good conversation, and we're gonna call it here. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on the weekend, and if not, next Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So thanks everyone for stopping by. Have a good night or rest of your
Night,
day.
everybody.
Night.